Hey guys. Hey everyone, how are you? How are you? Let me check to see if I am live. Hopefully, oh yeah, I'm alive. I'm live. I hear it. How is everyone doing? So I have a video that I want to start off with. It's a picture book. No. Girl, we're gonna read today. I got my good glasses on. Wait, is the rock girl here? Let me know. Let me know if the rock girl is here. The rock girl, can you lend us your voice? Are we about to have hooked on phonics lesson today? We might. Well, wait. Let's step back. All right. So, first of all, is this working? Is this working? Because the way I have been growing things. Let me look at my Discord and see what y'all talking about. Because y'all are too quiet. Too quiet. All right. So, oh my God. I've been growing this, and like I don't know, I feel powerful. I feel like actually kind of powerful. It's giving. It's giving. Hey Themis, hey mods. Oh, hey. Not is this working? It is a question. Uh I love you, Themis, but it will take some time before it connects. What? Are y'all telling me this is not connecting? Oh god, this is not it. I like it. So we're gonna pretend like it's connecting. I want to see Themis with a beard. It is on its way. Maybe 5 years from now, it will connect, but it's on its way. All right. How do we get into this gig? Let's do the jokes up front, and then we get into the serious part, right? So let's watch a video together for the pre-show. Let's watch this video together.
Look at this. He don't even bring the trash in. He's in my house with my daughter. Hey, where you at?
Dad, what are you doing here?
Look, I bought you this house so that you're able to get yourself together.
Why do you have your phone out?
I had enough of this guy that you got in here. I'm pissed off. I had enough. Excuse me one
Dad,
second.
please don't do this today. Please don't. Dad!
Look at him. Laying in bed, watching my TV in my house, not paying their bills, leeching off my daughter. I had enough of
No,
this.
he's not. It's okay.
I haven't seen one red penny come in this house. All I see is him laying around in the middle of the day. A grown man should be out working, not laying in bed in here. I'm not trying to hear all that right now. Get up. It's time for you to go. I don't want to hear nothing, man. I haven't seen a nickel from you. All I see is a guy, a grown man laying in bed in the middle of the day, watching TV. This is my house. I do what I want to do.
This is my house. Y'all gave this to me.
I pay the bills in here. You're my daughter. He doesn't belong to me. This is a grown man laying in bed. He needs to get himself and get up out of here. Man, I record what I want to record in this house. This is my house. This is my daughter. You go up front. I had enough. You go up front. I'm about sick and tired of you picking these deadbeat guys, bringing them up in my house when you can do so much better with yourself.
Just telling me what I need to do. Tell me how to live my life.
I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm just telling you how to live in my.
There is a voice changer for those of you who are asking. The dad apparently bought his daughter a home, and there is a man in the home, and he is now kicking out the man. Wake up, makeup slay. I want a carnival pic of you to hang on my wall. You're funny. Thank you. Clean Blue, welcome to the membership. Let's continue.
My house. I'll pay the bills in here.
If
You
you
don't
go,
mind.
then I go.
No, you don't need to go anywhere. You don't mind responsibility. You don't mind my responsibility.
My life.
I'm not trying to control you. I'm just trying to do the best for you.
You're trying to live my life.
I don't want to.
If he goes, I go.
No, you stay here. He goes. And what's taking you so long?
Stop talking to him. No, listen to him. I'm gonna really. Mom has no idea who him.
She knows I'm here.
No, she can't possibly.
You are my daughter. I love you. And I want the best for you.
I'm sick of this.
I'm about sick and tired of deadbeat guys coming in here. Look, it's time for you to go.
Let's go.
No, you stay here. You stay here. It's time for you to go, bro. Enough.
I'm not even stay here.
Oh, you staying here. It's time for you to go. Enough of these deadbeat guys coming in here doing what they're doing. Hey, say something else. No, enough. No, he's gone. He's gone. That's it. It's time to get your life together. Let's clean this house up. Your mom and I, we raised you better than this. We gave you everything that you need to be successful in life. We gave you a house. We paid the bill.
Hey, Sober Bobo. How are you? How are you? Look, this dad is 100% right. I don't know what this relationship is. I don't care what this relationship is. The dad bought you a house. You have someone living in there not paying rent. It is the middle of the day and that person is in bed. Yeah, kick them out. I'm here. We need to start a new movement where parents
come give you a car. You in school.
Where parents come and just kick the deadbeats. Let me send it. Just I don't know why. I thought that was actually quite funny, but apparently we need more fathers at home for different reasons. One of such reason is to make sure that the daughters aren't having deadbeat men in the home. Wait, I'm sending this link out. Give me 2 seconds. I have to send this now. I completely forgot to do it earlier. Wait. So Money and I disagree. Well, I don't know if we disagreed, but we had a conversation today about writing, and he's really good at like grammar and stuff like that. And so later on, I don't know when, but he's gonna come on, and we're gonna have a discussion about some things that I think I did wrong in telling people that they need to be writing instead of talking. I want to officially come on record and say I'm taking that back. Please go back to talking instead of writing, because the way these writings are happening, it's going to be a no from me. But before we get into that, I have another video that I want to show, just sort of as a kind of warm up. This is not the show. So is the rock girl here? Hey, Coco, I'm very excited next week. Next week, Coco and I are going to go live on Tuesday, and we're going to discuss a very important case. So that's that on that. Only Black men are loved unconditionally. Black women are only loved under the condition that they provide. Prince Petty, go to bed. I probably should send you the link. Well, whatever. If you want the link, let me know. I'm going to drop the link at some point in the show too, so it's fine. Here is another video that I wanted to show. Erica said he not lying. Well, here's another video that I wanted to show.
Let's focus.
What do you want a woman to depend on you for?
To provide.
Provide what?
Emotional support.
Emotional, okay.
Emotional protection.
Emotional. You say all women are stupid. Half the time you're talking about women are stupid. You don't respect them. How the f can we depend on you for anything emotional? Tell me.
Do you want me to answer the question?
No.
Or do you want to argue?
No.
Because this is one of the problems
No.
of independent woman.
Tell me.
Woman wants to
Tell me.
spew her trauma out on the table and expect somebody to let him go.
Go ahead.
You help a woman get through life.
He's getting you through life.
Woman needs a man to help lead her.
Give me an example of how you would help me get through life.
There you go.
By listening to you.
Whoa.
You know what?
Myself, bro. Sort me out.
So if you all didn't hear, he was talking about how people shouldn't listen to women and women are too emotional and blah, blah, blah. They want to put their feelings out on the table. And in telling women how he would help them, he essentially said he would listen to them. Now, how are you going to both listen to a woman while also saying women are too emotional and that no one should listen to them? Like, in what world is this making sense, Mr. Let Go? For those who did not see my short on Mr. Let Go, I'm going to play that short again so that you guys understand. He talks, what's the phrase? You talk out of both sides of your mouth. I think that's the phrase.
Choose work.
So this is what Mr. Let Go had to say on, I think, the Lapeef Network. They asked him, hey, were you married and how did it end? So I'm going to show you what he said on the Lapeef Network versus what he said on Tasha K's channel. So this is copyright, fair use, all that stuff. Let's hear it, because he's known for this kind of double speak.
Was she was a little spoiled by her mom, and her mom, because I taught her mom, and her mom was like, I spoiled the shit out of my daughter, and I can understand. And I knew she was spoiled from day one. Her dad left her a whole bunch of money, and her mom felt a certain amount of mom guilt where she just bought her daughter virtually everything that she wanted until the money was actually gone. She spoiled her daughter to the point where she actually ran out of fucking money. You know what I'm saying? So now I get this spoiled ass woman. She's dope. She's, but at the end of the day, she's so spoiled, it kind of like just caused her to keep undermining the household, which went against my just personal rules. And I was like, I won't do this shit no more.
What he said previous to that interview.
You want to be on your Daniel Jones?
Yeah, more than Daniel Jones. Like, who was a creep back then? I don't remember.
Did you step outside the marriage?
Yes.
Damn.
So I'm not gonna say her lie, but yeah, I stepped outside the marriage. But overall, I would say I overall, because I was a leader, I was not capable of sustaining a marriage. Just overall, it was so many things going on where I just didn't want to be married no more. It wasn't just the women. I just didn't want to be married no more. She was a really dope like wife. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like she got issues. Was she was a little spoiled by her mom, and her mom, because I taught.
Now, is it possible that his wife could have been both spoiled by the mother and also undermine the household? Yeah, that could be. But when we think about the fundamental reason why his wife filed for divorce, it wasn't because she was spoiled, it was because he was cheating. He was cheating. He admits to cheating on his wife, and that's why the relationship ended. That's what he said previously. Now, when asked on a different interview, he said it was because his wife was somehow spoiled by the mother. And that's what ended their relationship. I can't. I literally cannot. I'm the head of my precious daughter's security team, full mics and all. When she decides a relationship is moving forward, homie has to pass security. Period. Confidence with love says she is here for it, for all of it. Yeah, I think my thing is, I'm doing a video also on Hafiz and why I'm no longer like invested. And it is, I think a lot of these people just change their message, change like chameleons, depending on the audience that they have. And I find that to be absolutely ridiculous. I feel like you should be able to stand in what you believe in, regardless of who it is that you are speaking to. So that's that on that. All right, let's get into the video. Thank you, Confidence with Love. Pre-show over. Let's get into some actual mess. Well, it's not mess. I think we need to come together and have a meaningful discussion about writing, learned helplessness, and what we need to do moving forward. So we'll see what. All right. So before we get into this discussion, there was a TikTok video. It's actually quite longer than normal. It's like 3 minutes. And let me try to speed it up. Well, no, it's not going to speed up. I want us to listen to this because there was an exercise done in a classroom and it highlights this idea of learned helplessness. The reason I am putting this forward before we get into what this video is going to be is I am not asking you guys to give anyone grace, but I am asking that when we engage in these kinds of conversation around community building, about failures within the communities and things like that, I do want to underscore this idea of learned helplessness. And I was looking for the monkey experiment to do it. But every sort of literature that I've seen indicate that it was made up and over time transformed, and we just kind of understand it now. And if you guys don't know about the monkey experiment, it was where you put 5 monkeys in a closed room, put a banana in the ceiling with a ladder there, and every time a monkey would try to go up to the banana, they would douse the room with cold water. And after a while, none of the monkeys would attempt to get the banana because they know if they attempt to get the banana, the room would be doused with cold water, right? And then they would remove one of the original monkey, and put another one in. The other one, who did not learn that they shouldn't go on the ladder, right, would attempt to go on the ladder to get the banana. But instead of the room being doused with water, the other monkey would grab that one and beat that monkey, right? And then they would change another one of the original monkey, put it in, and that new monkey would try to go up, but they would beat the monkey until there was none of the original monkey who would be doused with water. None of those were left. And it was now all sort of second generation monkeys that were in there, and none of them would go up to try to get the banana, even though they don't know what exactly would happen if they attempted it, right? And that was a crude sort of project at highlighting this idea of how we pass down certain ideas to different generations. It could be conceived in the idea of a learned helplessness in certain situations, which we're going to get into, how trauma can be passed down without us fully understanding where the initial trauma came from. I think it was a great experiment, but to my knowledge, it wasn't real. And if you guys can find the video or the work as it relates to this experiment, you can do that and let me know. But based on everything I've known, it's not real. It's just part of a story that was told, and it had to do with sort of epigenetics, but we don't have to get into that. In any case, there is an experiment that was run in a classroom it's not in the same vein, but it has to do with learned helplessness. I think this experiment, because it was done so quickly, was good because we're talking about generations at this point. But this was done in 5 minutes, and in 5 minutes, people had had internalized their failures, and learned helplessness was a big part of what was happening. So I'm going to play the experiment. It's 3 minutes long. I won't interrupt it at all. And then when we come back, we will talk about why I decided to play that before we get into writing. So here we go.
Just do the first one only. Go ahead and solve it. An anagram is rearrange the letters to form a word. Just one. Just rearrange those letters to form a word. When you're done, I need to see your hand raised. Okay, keep going. We'll wait. Keep your hands up, please. Just do number one. Don't go on. Don't go on. This isn't meant to be difficult. Okay, put your hands down. Let's just go to number two. Don't even worry about number one. Go to number two, solve that one. Again, when you're done, I want to see your hands up. Everybody's hands down. We're going to go ahead and do number three. For number three, rearrange the letters, and as soon as you do, go ahead and put your hand up. Here's what you need to know. You were both given two different lists. This side of the room was given these three words. And left side of the room, here you go. They were given bat. What would the word be? The second one, they were given lemon. Brian, the word? Melon. They were easy. The trick here was both of you were given the third word, which was the same. The third word was cinerama, which was American. Your first two words on this side of my classroom were not solvable. They were impossible tasks. I'm sorry. I know, but here's what we did this for. I was able to induce something called learned helplessness in the left side of the room very easily within about 5 minutes. I want you to think about what happened to you, this left side of the room, when you saw the right side of the room raising their hands because they already had the task done. What happened to you during that time? Jory?
I felt stupid.
You felt stupid?
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt rushed.
Felt rushed? Joelle?
I was even more confused.
You're even more confused because they all got it and you were still struggling. Chelsea?
Frustrated.
Frustrated. What happened by the time you got to the third word? Because I'm here to tell you, this side of the room is not significantly more intelligent than this side of the room. That was a random assignment. So what happened to show the differences? Why did you have more of a difficult time with the third word, which was the exact same word? Brian?
My confidence was shot.
What you experienced was a term called learned helplessness. How many have heard of the term before? Let me see your hands. Learned helplessness is often used in the academic literature to mean what? Jory?
Basically, they fail once or can't do something one time, and then they apply that to everything in the future.
TikTok is out here learning us, anyway, teaching, but Manye, you're here.
Hola.
How are you?
I'm great. You?
Doing well. So you've seen this video already, but we were talking about this idea of learned helplessness because I don't want to shape the conversation going forward because I do recognize I feel like there's a drag that is going to happen in a moment when we start reading. But I think we have to, I want to couch my analysis in most everything that I do, in the idea that there is a lot of things that animate our actions outside of ourselves. I still blame us, but there's a lot that animates who we are and what we do that we don't fully understand, right? We don't fully understand psychology. We don't fully understand sociology. We don't fully understand epigenetics. We don't fully understand how trauma affects individuals and groups on a broader level. I think there is a lot that we don't understand. And I think this video highlights how little we know, right? And so, as a sort of background, the first word on one side of the classroom paper that they were supposed to unscramble was impossible, right? The other two were easy. But because the first one was impossible and they couldn't do it where the other group had an easier word and they figured it out, the first group with the hard word was unable mostly to figure out the other easier task they were given because they had learned how to be helpless based on the fact that they couldn't solve the first one, right? And I think that should be in the forefront of our minds generally. How do you respond to the crude experiment? And before we go on,
Well, before I comment about that one, I want to reference the monkey experiment, and sometimes it's called the banana experiment too. You talked about it, the way you framed it. You said, what did you say? You said that it could pass down trauma, and or as generational trauma, or it could be an expression of generational trauma. But I do also want to say that it could be less ominous than that. It could simply be tradition, and a tradition that hurts you. That hurts families. So there are some like misogynistic aspects of Confucianism in the Asian community where they're super subservient to men and also to the elders, and it can get quite abusive. So it's not just the monkey experiment isn't just representing like trauma. I think that's on the more extreme side, it could simply be tradition that does not necessarily help you.
yeah. But that the reason I like this over the monkey experiment, just to be frank, is because I think the monkey experiment could be argued isn't real, but also when we use it on monkeys, there's a question of how much you can like anthropomorphize, right? Like how,
Right.
yeah. So how much, yeah.
And that's another thing. You also said that you weren't sure how legitimate it was, which I think even allegorically, it's still relevant.
Yeah, its relevancy I don't think should be in question. Its accuracy, and again, how much you can draw and compare to human beings, I think would be. But yeah, no, I'm with you
Okay.
on that. All right, so I decided, damn, TikTok just gave us the villain origin story. Learned how helplessness got turned out by a girl in 8th grade, and proof of the Manosphere is born. Why are y'all like this? What? Why are y'all like this? This is actually quite funny. I hate that this is like kind of accurate.
I think it's more of like learned helplessness. Yeah, it's kind of putting those two together. It's I know we can come up with like with different conceptions of what it is. I think like really weighted conceptions of what it is. But after having impossible tasks and kind of being, I don't know, being forced to fail.
I wouldn't. No. I wouldn't say impossible task.
Well, in the scenario, that's what she called it.
Well, in the scenario, but generally, it's about failure failure, and usually repeated failure that leads one to believe that they will fail in the future, and so they feel helpless.
Right. And well, yeah. That was my point. Yeah. depending on, I mean, not even depending on how or why, but yeah, the result of failure over time, then it makes it seem like, okay, most likely this next thing is going to fail. Probably, like in probability, these 5 things have failed in the beginning. The 6th thing is most likely going to fail.
Yeah. I mean, the question, though, obviously, is whether or not that's good or bad. I was trying to put the, because Prince Petty is not here to put it on a chart, so I definitely found one. I mean, I think everyone here understands it, hopefully. Thank you, Maya. But I did find a chart that I wanted to include. So, learned helplessness, uncontrollable bad event, perceived lack of control, general helpless behavior. So that's essentially the way in which things happen and come about. It's pretty straightforward, I think, and hopefully we don't have to get back into it. Please don't weaponize learned helplessness against the manosphere. Because actually, in talking about it and seeing that comment, that's not why I'm posting this right now. So please don't say learn helplessness to black men out of the home. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud because no, I definitely guarantee that becomes a thing. In any case, sorry, none of this is actually funny, and I think people. Let me explain something. Whenever I'm uncomfortable, I laugh, and so like it's not like I'm laughing because I agree or I'm laughing because it's right or anything like that. I just I don't know how to not laugh. So apologies. I am wrong. Y'all can drag me. It's fine. Anywho, let's continue. Someone said it's definitely a thing now. I know. I figured. All right. Wait, do you want to say anything before we get into this video?
Well, just I can understand the well, no, I can't say that we had like a whole period of lack of entrepreneurship, but I think there's just been a resurgence of entrepreneurship lately. But I don't want to like fault my like grandparents and such, because we know during like Jim Crow, Black people did build things, not just Black Wall Street, but
Wait, I
there.
don't know what we're talking about.
No, I'm just thinking about the learned helplessness part. It's like we can look at our at our parents and grandparents and be like, why don't we have Black businesses? Why don't we have Black wealth? Why don't y'all pass anything down to me? And they were building, collectively, not just like not your particularly grandparents or whatever, but they were building collectively. And I don't know if you guys saw the SNL skit, or not skit, but the SNL kind of dialogue where it was a Black woman. I don't know her name, but she actually talked about, hey, it wasn't just Black Wall Street. Here are 20 other thriving Black towns that were literally flooded.
Maria, I promise you I have no clue what you're talking about.
No, well, on my point.
Wait. We're talking about learned help. I don't know. I'm confused.
I'm getting to the learned helplessness part.
War face helplessness.
What?
Wait, go ahead. Can you contextualize what you're doing right now?
The people who created those Black communities that were flooded intentionally and burned and bombed and shot up. That was the uncontrollable event in which, and they understood that they didn't have any control. And I think it made it easier for us to assimilate later on. Because
so are you saying that because we couldn't protect when we build and we saw things broken, then our learned helplessness or our helpless state was the fact that we could not protect, so over time we stopped building?
That's why I think that integration became more of a viable solution.
All right, so they destroyed our stuff when we were separated, so we wouldn't want to separate and wanted to integrate so that we could integrate, and that was what they wanted. They.
Yeah, I mean, it's more. I mean, that's not specifically my point. My point is about the learned helplessness was induced, and then now we're dealing with the result of that, and that's why. So not to damn our our ancestors, because there are things going on more horrific than we can imagine that was going on, and we can't, because we actually have to be taught about all the all the towns. I think that particular SNL slot, they talked about 20 of not civilizations, but cities or towns that were literally underwater right now, that we have no idea about, that are not on the map anymore. You know what I mean? And so we don't know how bad it was there, but at least we can contextualize, what happened and how we were, and and then of course improve ourselves, and then get back to the helping ourselves and building up ourselves.
All right. So I think I understand what you're saying, and the learned helplessness in that aspect. The reason I brought it up was different because I wasn't getting into that, but I accept it, and I will say the reason I don't want to, how do I put this properly, to not drag. So I came online and I was saying, I wish more men in the manosphere would write, right? I wish they would pick up a pen, a typewriter. No one uses a typewriter. So wait, so I saw a comment that I want to see. Mania is a finance boy. He probably circumvents a little. Period. So I remember telling men that they should write. You should write. You should write. The reason I say you should write is because I think when you put your thoughts on paper before you say it out loud, it gives you an opportunity to reflect. And so because what I'm about to do right now, in reading someone's writing out loud, might be seen as a reason why men should not write. I wanted to say that I understand learned helplessness. I understand when there's a negative pushback that people tend to refrain from engage in the behavior that gets the negative pushback. And I don't want that to happen, but I cannot not talk about this. So I just don't want this to be a part of the process of the learned helplessness that happens. So I was trying to be very specific, but I do take your broader point that learned helplessness can probably be seen in just generally how we've interacted with the system, right? We might feel powerless, and I think maybe rightfully so sometimes, in our ability to protect against a system that is as powerful as the one we have, right? As only 13 to 14% of the US population, in just sheer numbers, we just don't have it in terms of if we wanted to protect something, right? So I agree with you on the unwillingness to build, maybe because one can protect. The question now becomes whether or not, if you attempt to build in 2022, if that is going to cause an issue where the power structures will want to attempt to destroy. So I just wanted to give your thought the ability to breathe. I hope you felt that before we jump into this mess. Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
So I am here minding my own business, being online, and I'm watching a video. I will not say the name of the book. And I'm going to play a little part of the interview that I heard, and I definitely ran out and got my Kindle because I definitely downloaded this book because I wanted to read it. So here's the interview, and then we're going to get into this book. Is the rock girl here? If the rock girl is here, Mania, do you like reading out loud?
Not particularly.
I hate reading. Is the rock girl here? The Rock Girl, are you here? We love your voice. I don't like reading out loud. All right, I'm gonna read out loud. It's fine.
On top of that, I would think that women would be terrified to hear this because it is like the opposite of their essence. It's so much rationale and reality all at once, compacted into like a 30-second person. If you aren't willing to accept what is true, then you cannot prepare for what you don't understand. Hold on, wait. Let's pull that shit.
Yeah, that would man. Hey, this motherfucker is filled with just
hot fucking fine. Let me get an applause on this shit right now because it's going crazy right now.
Because people ain't never heard this shit.
So let's pull it back real quick. So first of all, you're a published author.
Yes.
So let's talk about your book real quick. So tell me about the book. I want to know when it came out and what actually inspired you to come out with this book.
The book came out June 13th, 2021. A bestseller, right? It was the number one best newcomer. It was the best number one newcomer on Amazon.com, The Q-Pill, An Overdose of Reality, The Remedy for a Cold World. And what it was I'm just sitting around thinking about how much this political correct era makes my balls itch. Like, I can't stand people are constantly bitching and complaining about other people's opinions, about what's being said, and it's like, what do you have? You can change the outcome of shit. Why would you subject yourself to it? Why do you expect the world to conform to your way of thinking? And essentially, I just started jotting down shit that pisses me off, highlighting realities. And the more people talk about politically correct bullshit, the more it made me want to say, nah, fuck that. That's not the reality. I'm going to tell you what the reality is. So the reality was I broke down how nurture is a reflection of nature, how biased and distorted humans naturally are, how the human mind is a complex system of cognitive mishaps. We draw so many inferences and we take so many cognitive shortcuts. That's why biases are a thing, because we look for expedited inferences about phenomena that go on around us.
Wait. Wait, so I promise you this was not meant to be mean. I promise you I took the book up. I bought the book only because I wanted to see what was up. I heard him say this and I was like, absolutely, I have to buy this book. So I bought the book. Copyright law allows for us to read a certain amount of the book once it's not over, I think 20%. I checked it before I came on here. There is an amount that is available on Kindle and all the reading materials that is just a brief overview. You can show up to 2 chapters with the prologue. That's what we're gonna do.
You said 20%?
I think 25. But
that is a lot. Wow.
For promotional purposes, this is kind of promotional, but this is more about a literary critique, which is another caveat within copyright. So I am just sitting here and we're about to read together. Someone said, hello, Themis, I'm new here. Hey, Oak, welcome. Oh, I'm sad that this is the stream you came on, because this is going to be very different than every other stream that I've ever done, in that we are going to read. This is going to be Hooked on Phonics. I read the first 2 sentences and I knew immediately that we were going to have to read this book. All right. So if the Rock Girl is not here, I hate reading out loud. Like, you don't even understand how much I hate reading out loud. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to read? Do the reading.
Not punted to the audience.
All right, I'll do it. It's fine. It's done. So the prologue goes, over the past decade, comma, I've sat back and observed the calculated approaches, comma, that many Western societies have taken, comma, in their desperate attempts to create idealistic domains, period. Egalitarian utopias, comma, where an equality of outcome is the desired standard. However, My fundamental understanding of human nature, comma, human behavior, comma, and human history, comma, has shown me, comma, that this is an unachievable feat, period. Why? Question mark. Because due to the plethora of internal factors and variables, comma, within the sovereign individual known as man, semicolon, as well as a myriad of, let's go. External factors and variables that are beyond man's control, comma, such as I'm pretty sure that is a colon, thoughts, comma, values, comma, feelings, comma, and actions of others, period. I've realized that this cohort of factors and variables contribute to a significant variance, comma, across and amongst population, comma, in colon, skill, comma, intelligence, comma, competence, comma, and desirabilities, semicolon, and ultimately diverse outcomes in every facet of human life, period. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. All right.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Wait, no. Wait.
Not commas. Commas.
Book summary. Look. I was pass out some comments. Look, I was going to make to do this as a members only kind of review. I don't know what this man was talking about. In the first paragraph, I am still confused as to what this book is about. With all these commas and there's like we need to get hooked on phonics. Like and actually run on sentences to let men out of the home. Wait, what does this mean? What is this? Can you explain this to me? Do you know what was happening just now? Should I read it again without saying commas?
Wait. No. No. Isn't this what's called a comma splice, where there's too many commas? So I see. I thought that maybe he was doing like a dictation machine, like he was speaking out loud, because he put commas where a person would not speak or would pause for a breath, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's where you should put a comma. So there's an excess of commas, and he was using some of the semicolons wrongly, and so I was thinking, like, I applaud anyone who's going to write a whole book about anything, because I personally don't think.
I don't applaud anyone who's going to write a book.
No. I mean, the volition to do it. I'm like, that's great. The willpower, because I don't like writing, right? And I don't think that I have so much to say that I would write an entire book. Usually, what I think of what indicates intelligence is succinctness. Like, I think that the least amount of words that you can use, especially if you're going to use like a more like a higher vocabulary, then the higher vocabulary should be more specific and should pinpoint exactly the message you want to have. Not, I'm going to use a higher vocabulary and then throw in a whole bunch of synonyms. You know what I mean? I'm going to get out the thesaurus and throw in a whole bunch of synonyms to make a 7-word list about what I'm trying to say, because it may or may not stick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. So,
well, to be fair, he said he likes objectivity and critique, and people should take the truth. So if he sees this video, I don't think he would be mad, because he doesn't get emotional. So that's great. Second, I think it's important that we critique. So I don't know what the first paragraph was talking about. Something about humans. I have no clue what is happening, but let's continue. Thank you, my editors, beta readers, and thesaurus took Batman out of the home. All right, let's continue. This book was written based on, I feel like I shouldn't say comma. This book was based on, comma, the observational, comma, and scientifically valid phenomena, comma, that...
See, those weren't necessary. None of those commas were necessary so far.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all I had to say. Go on.
Wait, this book was written based on, comma, the observational, comma, and scientifically valid phenomena, comma, that have existed within human nature, comma, since the dawn of humanity, period. And not and as an independent behavioral scientist, period. I mean, comma, certified coach, comma, and an intellectual mind who holds a degree in the field of psychology, comma, or the science of human behavior. Having studied for nearly a decade, I decided it's time I put my knowledge and expertise on display, comma, as I analyze, comma, assess, comma, and highlight the faulty perception of the human brain, semicolon, the repugnant realities of human nature, semicolon, and how in effect, this is the longest sentence I have ever seen.
So
the sentence is not done. It's like going on to the next page. Like, go where?
he's not using the semicolon properly, and I don't like that for him.
Oh my God. Wait. The paragraph is confusing. The comma paragraph comma is comma confusing. Comma.
They should take a sip every time there's a comma.
Girl, we would die. Even if we're only drinking water, we would die.
Dehydrated.
Punctuations took black men out of the home. Wait, I mean, he's now the intellectual in the space. Let me not. No one said that. No one said that. Stop being silly, Themis. Get his sport. Period. I'm trying. Look. Hey, Obi, welcome back. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a minute. All right. This book, I'm not going to say comma, because there's one period on this page right here. This book was written based, I have to do comma.
You have to do comma because I just got my water. I'm about to start sipping.
All right. This book was written based on, comma, the observational, comma, and scientifically valid phenomena, comma, that have existed within human nature, comma, since the dawn of humanity, period. And as an independent behavioral scientist, comma, certified relationship coach, comma, and an intellectual mind, you could just be an intellectual, but whatever. And an intellectual mind who holds a degree. Wait, is it the mind who holds a degree? Period. Wait. And as an independent behavioral scientist, comma, certified relationship coach, comma, and an intellectual mind who holds a degree in the field of psychology, comma, or the science of human behavior, dash, having studied for nearly a decade, dash, I decided it's time I put my knowledge and expertise on display, comma, as I analyze, comma, assess, comma, and highlight the faulty perceptions of the human brain, semicolon, the repugnant realities of human nature, semicolon, and how ineffectual mankind, let's go, will ultimately be, comma, in its attempt humanitarian utopia, comma, it aspires to create, period. all while offering insight on a more effective, disciplined, and realistic approach in navigating, adapting to, and evolving oneself, in this area of repulsive sensitivity and egregious political turbulence. Girl, what? Look at
Period. He said he's gonna use this BS. This the Bachelor of Science in Psychology. So you guys are gonna know I have it.
I am confused. I could have sworn I saw a bunch of super chats that I missed. Here, the paragraph, is confusing, Oh, I think I'm watching the phone and the thing, and they're showing up at different times. All right.
So some of the commas he's using for. Oh, hold on. Excuse me. That's from all the water I was sipping with the commas. But that was he put some commas around prepositional phrases, which he didn't need to do. So it sounds like he's putting commas where, like, if he was dictating it, he would pause, and that's not necessarily correct. So it's a lot of commas.
Wrong. Not it's not necessarily correct. It's incorrect. He's letting y'all know he qualified to buy a mic. He got words, period. Look, this is like, let me come on the screen for 2 seconds. As someone who's been working on a manuscript for over a year now, and writing, I will say that not that I'm encouraged by the foolishness, but I do like that more, that do I like it? I don't like it. I don't like that people are, because part of the problem with the self-publishing industry is this, right? Like, it feels like we can all just do stream of consciousness dumps and not edit it at all and then just publish. Almost every book that I've ever read had some level of grammatical issue. I don't think I've ever seen it this horrible. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it like that. He's letting y'all know, yo, I read this. Thank you, Curry Up and Eat. DJ says, he's an intellectual man, and that's on
That's right. That's on comma.
Period. Wait. I mean, let's get into this, because apparently his philosophy is that women are emotional and can't really blah, and women are just the worst, and men are logical. And
wait, Thamus, I don't know if you have merge or if you're gonna do merge, but like hashtag that's on comma needs to be a thing.
Oh, girl, hashtag that's on comma. Commas to black men out of the home. Wait, let me continue to read. Why, y'all, in, the, chat, laughing, semicolon, and, this, Jan, go in the corner. Go in the corner. I feel like we're just wrong. I feel like we are wrong. I don't know why, but I think we're wrong. I don't know how we're wrong, but we're girl, passive voice, subject verb agreement, inspiration, writing for the writer rather than the reader. Thank you, confidence is love. Had to tell a man this week that just because he put a question mark at the end of a statement, it doesn't mean he asked a question. Sentence structure took black men out of the home. When this guy seems like he just discovered what a comma was yesterday. Now he acting like kid in a Candace store buying up all the commas.
Look, commas taste good. I don't know if y'all know.
Wait, I would rather read a book of Curry Up and Eat and Maya Super Chat. At this point.
Look, he
Someone
sees.
said we're on page 2.
We sure are.
We haven't even gotten to chapter 1.
This ain't this is the prologue?
The preface. I think this is the preface.
Well. Yeah. Okay, the preface.
It will never be a period again. It will always it all about them, comma.
Look, comma.
I can't do it.
And that's on comma. You know what? You know what? Because he really seasoned these sentences with a little karma. I mean, with a little comma. You know, like it's like parsley.
Comma. I can't do it. I can't do it. I like period. Comma. No, it's not giving what needs to be gave. Someone else gonna say comma. Comma.
Sprinkle a little comma on it. You know what I mean? Make it look.
When I say period, it feel like I feel it somewhere in my soul.
In my spirit.
I feel it. When I say comma, it doesn't reach the depths of my soul. All right, let's continue. Prince Betty, let me know if you want the link. I probably should just drop it in the Discord. I'm going to drop the link in the Discord. Give me 2 seconds.
Can Prince Brady make like a meme that's like hashtag that's on comma?
No.
All right.
The art just has to come. It can't just, we can't tell him what to do. It just happens.
We can't commission him? Wow.
Wow. All right. The Q pill is my personal constructed philosophy, comma, predicated on biological and psychological realities, comma, that are explained, comma, in my own words, semicolon, comma, psychoanalytical lens, semicolon, based on thousands of my observations, comma, interactions, comma, and social experiments with human beings, semicolon, as well as from my mental health and relationship coaching clientele, comma, personal experiences, comma, and girl, what is this? Like, I feel like this is me now. I'm gonna come and take your laptop.
Literally.
Miles accepted, period. Send me a super chat, because period, you need to be paid for this. I'm gonna come and take, I love this. I love this. This is making me smile.
And that's on comma.
He's clearly listening to Future F up some commas.
I love that.
Vitamin Q, his own words and commas. Look, Jesus being
yes.
What? I hate y'all. Someone said Sinji is in here. Hey Sinji, is this the book of Dusty? No, this is not Obsidian's book. This is someone named the Q Pill. His name is the Q Pill, and I am just confusion. I am now going to do a series where I buy Manosphere men's book and we read them, because I didn't know all this was happening. I didn't know these commas were commaing so much.
No, he's the comma pill.
Wait, can you read the first paragraph here again?
Who?
You.
No.
I'm gonna read it again because I'm gonna. The Q pill is my personal constructed philosophy, comma, predicated on biological and psychological realities, comma, that are explained, comma, in my own words, semicolon, through my professional, comma, psychoanalytical lens, semicolon, based on thousands of my observations, comma, interactions, comma, and social experiments with human beings, semicolon, as well as from my mental health and relationship coaching clientele, comma, personal experiences, comma, and I feel like at this point you weren't even trying to be grammatically correct. I feel like at this point you weren't even caring about a grammar or a punctuation. I feel like you were like, let me just write. Was there any period up there besides the last period in this paragraph?
No.
Let me check. Is there a period anywhere in sight? Nope, it's the last one.
No, because what he did is he made a list, and then he made a list in each of the lists.
Because he got a bulk order of commas. We are here. I love it. I love it, comma. You love, comma. Where's the semicolon, comma? No other punctuation needed, period. Me, I don't know.
Very verbose.
Like why you are running around. Well, let me stop. Let me not say that.
But it's way too wordy, and what he's doing is he's just throwing a lot of vocabulary at once, and that doesn't necessarily make you sound smarter.
All right, but what is he saying here? Wait, are there only 3 periods in this book? Question mark, period. Look, y'all are not gonna come for the Kong. Natalie, thank you. What is he saying in the top? What does this mean?
He just says that the Q pill is, and he said he creates a list. So it's a philosophy, and then he says predicated on, so has an adverb phrase, and then he goes into lists, and like in each of the items of the list, he makes another list.
Wait, read this comment.
He might comma after you. He might comma after you, huh?
I love this. I love this so much. I love this so much. Man. All right. If you find yourself disliking, this is the drag. So, by the way, wait. Before I read the next paragraph, you would think someone who is writing this badly would be humble in their dragging of the reader, right? You would think they would pause and self-reflect and say, look, I wasn't the greatest at English, so I'm about to put a book out that's not edited, and maybe people might have problems with the way that I write, so let me not drag the readers too much, right? No, he gonna drag y'all. He is going to drag you all through all the grammatical issues. He might not be able to write, but he knows how to drag. So let's get into this drag. If you find yourself disliking this psychological...
Already, it's already a call out. We didn't even get to the. I don't even know what chapter we're on.
We have not even. We are on page 2. We barely past page 2.
And he has a call out for y'all already.
Yeah, no, he gonna drag y'all. How dare y'all? If you find yourself disliking the psychology-based, philosophical self-help book, then chances are you're probably the typical, smooth-brained, overly sensitive, leftist, feminist, postmodernist, wait.
Already.
Y'all gonna get this drag. Y'all think y'all gonna escape this? No, y'all gonna get this drag.
He said smooth brain, but didn't hyphenate it.
Our internet troll, ready? Y'all ready for the real drag? Let me read the super chat before we get into this. Thank you, Vogue. Well, let's get into, because what y'all are not gonna do is drag him. He gonna drag y'all first. Well, that's what he gonna do. I've never underestimated black men antics, never, exclamation mark, Wait, so he said, you all who lacks logic, objectivity, critical thinking, and reasoning skills, period. And if that is indeed you, I would recommend putting this book down, and scheduling a therapy session, because this book will not improve the cognitive deficits, you severely suffer from, nor will leaving hateful reviews elicit feelings of disgust and distrust, within my triple-digit follower fan base, who happen to enjoy, respect, and admire my perspective on life, period. Enjoy the book, exclamation mark. And that's on period.
No, that's on comma.
Yeah, y'all got that drag. Y'all got drag. Y'all can be mad.
And that's on comma.
I have never seen someone written this poorly a drag for other people. Like, I have never seen someone, like, this is just you dragging yourself at this point. Like,
Triple digit fan base.
period. Period. Red herring. Where can I buy this book? Question mark. I've got to get it for my copy editor at work for Christmas. She will have an aneurysm. Look, I'm big mad at his. Look, this man just read you all for filth. He just dragged.
He said, my triple digit fan base won't be shook.
He dragged 3 generations of of Grammarly. We're on the 4th edition. Like, I cannot. Look, one thing I'm gonna say is I love the audacity. Oh wait, that was the prologue. You're right, that was the prologue. Now we're on the preface.
You know what? Oh, you know what? This, with all these lists, it makes it seem like he's trying to hit a word count. Maybe his like publishing people told him like you can't publish less than this many words.
I mean, the pamphlet is 77. I mean, the book is 77 pages.
But if they full of lists like this, then
girl, ain't no editor, ain't no copy, ain't no what. I hear he printed this and put it on Amazon. He said you're gonna get a prologue, you're gonna get a preface, and you're gonna get a forward.
Look, he looked into the parts. He said he looked to the parts of the book. He was like, "What book's got? Let me see. What's on here? All right, prologue. All right, check."
I hate to see how he writes number larger than 999. He probably uses a comma after every single digit. He don't. Red herring, thank you. I don't remember if I said thank you. Star above the emerald forest, thank you. I appreciate that. Not what book got it. I can't. The Kaisorian holy text took Black men. I know. Oh, man, Sasha. Not the pamphlet. Look, money. Wait, why did you say? Why are people saying period or exclamation mark to you?
I don't know what I do.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm tired. I'm tired. Wait, we didn't get. Do we need a commercial break? Drop a 1 if we should have a commercial break.
Drop a comma.
Drop a 1 if we should have a commercial break. Drop a comma if we should continue.
Because he continues after commas.
All right, we are gonna get a commercial break. I see people wanting a commercial break. All right. So, all right, we're gonna do a commercial break. Wait, there's commas.
Commas are coming in. Look, we're finna be comatose.
All right, let's do a commercial break. So, I said I wouldn't talk about Kanye West, right? But I'm not going to talk about Kanye West. I'm going to instead talk about Candace Owens. Because Candace Owens, did you pay for this book? The way you better call your bank up and charge the fraud. No, I didn't. I mean, I did. I have Kindle Unlimited and it's available. So if you have it. Oh, Prince Betty said, make a poll. The way I forgot how to make this poll. Wait, let me see. Prince Betty said I should. Sorry. Girl, I don't remember. Prince Betty, I don't remember. How do I make a poll? The thing is not showing up on my end on how to make the poll in StreamYard. Prince Betty, you have the link in the, just go in the Discord and click the link and come on and tell me. But anyway, let's go to let's read some more until Petty come. When Petty come, I'll figure out how to do the poll and then we can figure it out. All right.
Let me get my water. Hold on.
Themis, can you slow down the chat? I can slow down the chat, actually. I forgot. I was actually attempting to do that.
You can do that?
I
Wow.
was. Yeah, I'm going to slow it down to 60. I'm going to slow it down to 30 seconds instead of 60. There you guys go, I think. Yeah. All right, Prince Betty, you said, how do I do it now?
Got to go to the comments.
I'm at the comments.
It should be a little like an analytics button.
Oh, in my studio?
No. Well, yeah, it's in the studio. You can go there, or you can go to just to the comments, the same way you would pin a comment on the actual YouTube video.
All right, I'm there.
And it should be like a little analytics button down there.
Nope, don't see it.
Oh, you might not be that guy.
It's not there. So, all right, I'm not that guy. Let's continue. Wait, Patty, do you want to read this?
Picked a bad day. I got a sore throat.
Well, you do. I can do it then. It's fine.
Simply put, Themis, life is a journey. In my opinion, life is like an expedition.
Yeah, wait, you have to do the commas.
Yeah, we need the punctuation.
Life. See, I feel like y'all are being mean because he put his heart. I think,
and comma.
We read this how it was meant to be read. I believe this was the reason there are commas like this is because it was meant to be read by Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking has a natural pause in his infliction, which I put in the private chat how it's actually supposed to be read using Stephen Hawking's voice.
All right, so read it. You read it, and then I'll read it. We're going to create a book called No Commas Needed, period. I will notify you all of it. Why do I keep saying thank you, by the way, hurry up and eat? Go ahead, Patty. Read it how it's supposed to be read.
Simply put, comma, life is a journey, period. In my opinion, comma, life is like an expedition behind the wheel of an automobile, comma, on the road to your desired destination, period. Think of the car as your body, semicolon. The engine and internal automotive systems as your, colon, subconscious mind, comma, internal systems, comma, and bodily functions, dash, and you, comma, the driver, comma, are the consciousness, period.
We've introduced a dash.
So, people are saying I'm being mean. By people, I mean Prince Betty. What does it mean?
Well, it's difficult to explain. When you are an intellectual, you advance past the need for the English language and you kind of invent your own. So I don't know that I can translate it well.
Period.
But put simply, life is like a car. We know that
your body was like a car.
Well, yes, that's why you don't want your car to be on the road because the car is the body. So the engine is, I think, the brain, and you don't want your brain on the road. You would be dead. How is your brain not in your head? That doesn't make sense. So I think I see what he's saying.
All right, I will take your word for it. Should I read this? Yeah, I don't want you to strain your voice, apparently.
Yeah. Don't strain his voice. When we get better.
I think Manosphere should read.
Huh?
I think Manosphere should read. He's been ducking it.
Right?
What? No. Who? I can't see it. Themis.
All right. Now, comma. Period. Now, comma. When you purchase a new car, comma, there's no wear and tear, period. It is in optimal condition, comma, and prepared for its trek to your desired destination in life, comma, wherever they may be. What? All right. On this life voyage to your desired destination, comma, it's absolutely necessary that you are a defensive driver, period. Why? Question mark. Because it's the judgment and habits of other drivers that you have no control over, period. Therefore, comma, you must always remain alert, comma, aware, and cautious, comma, at all times, period, because it can ultimately be the difference between success and failure, semicolon, or life and death, period. Your primary job is to maintain efficient control. Wait, to effect efficient, your primary job is to maintain efficient control your own. Wait, am I saying something wrong? This is not. You didn't. Can you read the sentence that I'm messing up?
Your primary job is to maintain efficient control your own car.
All right, so I'm not. Oh, he left off. He left off.
Yeah, he didn't say the word of. Yeah.
The real question is, if I'm the driver, comma, but I have a self-driving car, then what does that mean about my conscious? Look, page number 4%, period. So I thought I was going through it. Themis and thoughts, I, comma, love, comma, it, comma, over here, period. Wait, because it's the judgment and habits of other drivers that you have no control over, period. Therefore, you must always remain alert, comma, aware, comma, and cautious, comma, at all times, period. Because it can ultimately be the difference between success and failure, semicolon, or life and death, period. Your primary job is to maintain efficient control of, I'm going to say, efficiently control your own car. I'm going to go with that. It's to efficiently control your own car. You must remain cognizant of your desired direction, comma, and the route you are taking to reach your destination, period. You are not to focus solely on what others are doing, comma, but you must remain mindful of their acts, period. It's ultimately your duty to the best of your ability, I'm assuming. Yeah, to the best of your ability, comma, to assess situation and have hazards, as well as, comma, react to them as calmly, comma, quickly, comma, and as logical as you possibly can. This is necessary, comma, in order to maximize your chances at achieving the optimal outcome, period. It's the best way to ensure that you avoid any potential harm, comma, unscathed.
There was no reason for that.
I think it's for dramatic effect, maybe. I mean, I understand what he's saying, but why did he write it like that?
Wait, explain what he think, because I don't understand what he. I got it, comma. These commas are in place of snaps, comma. Try it.
Life is like a car. No, you are the car. Wait, life is like a road, and you are the car, and you're on the road, and you got to watch out for bad drivers, or you're gonna wreck your car. To me, what he's saying is, eat healthy, eat your vegetables, stay in school, and take care of yourself, and watch out for other people with malicious intent. Why he stretched that out into this long page that nearly gave me an aneurysm, I don't know, but he did it.
Look.
He's trying to get that word count and that comma count. Watch out.
Yeah, I think he means life is traffic and you are the car. This has been already spoken of. He is trying to use it to make pointless, poorly written points, word salad. The whole book is 3 sentences at this point. No, yeah. I mean, he hasn't said much thus far.
I don't even know what to draw for this.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't even know what to draw for this. I'm scratching my head. What is this?
Look.
So if you draw a car with an engine, and then you say that you put like a U, like you are the car, and then put a U on the engine because you're also the engine.
Well,
and
he
put it
didn't.
on the road.
He didn't get the degree though. His brain got it. So the engine got the
Oh,
degree.
all right. So that's how I interpreted it too. That is literally how I interpreted that. Like his brain got the degree.
That's on comma.
On your journey through life, comma, you cannot expect everyone be courteous, comma, polite, comma, or kind, period. There will be drivers that refuse to there will be drivers that refuse to let you merge. Wait. I can't. I can't. The Manosphere out here smoothing out our brain.
Look,
I cannot do this.
look at the chat. Caribou said, "No, life is like a comma."
Courier
love
says
it.
that man said buy my book, comma, you interpret it, period. Go. Look. Why there will be drivers that refuse to let you merge. It's you. This is a typo. That let you merge. I don't think he meant to write your merge. There will be drivers who make unkind remarks to you, period. There will be drivers who display disrespectful gestures, period. But even then, comma, you cannot allow others to divert you from your path, comma, or run you off the road, period. Let them know. Keep your head up, son. There will be times when you have to drive with some aggression, exactly, comma, some speed, period, comma, and you even and you may even have to be to bogart a few times, period. A Twitter thread at best requires better grammar. Hello. We get into this. Get ready for this now. Period. There are times when you have to be aggressive. I'm here for this part. There will be others. Let's see. I stand behind that paragraph that I just read.
I'm sorry. Pam Art said, "Life is like a box of commas."
But I don't see it. Oh, I wish I saw that comment. Y'all are cutting up. This is giving Amazon pay by the character. Look, period. All right, let's get into this because it was getting good. I was getting some real deep stuff just now. Themis, no, it says times. Times you need to use your horn, comma, to alert other drivers, comma, the potentially dangerous situation that they may be about to put you in, comma, due to their lack of awareness. All right, it felt like it was going somewhere, but it didn't go anywhere. While on your destination in life, comma, it is imperative to be prepared for all the possibilities of potential issues that may arise. So, period. All right, that is a good sentence. That is a solid point. That is a good point that every single human being has made in the past at some point and heard. But it's good. While on your destination in life, comma, it is imperative to be prepared for all the possibilities of potential issues that may arise. Now, I realize you cannot be prepared for every single possibilities, but the sentiment I receive, thank you, period. These can include detours, comma, flats, comma, getting low on gas. Why are you listing all of this?
We don't need all those to understand the metaphor with the car thing. He doesn't have to tell us what can go wrong with a car.
At least at this point, you've run the car off the cliff. Like the metaphor is done. You have exhausted the engine of this metaphor. I mean, ain't no way you spent 3 pages of book for some dumb analogy, right? There is no topping Forrest Gump. Like I just don't understand. Like why? I thought it was getting good. Well, I didn't think it was getting good, but they can include detours, comma, flats, comma, getting low on gas, comma, getting tired, comma, getting caught in traffic. Why are you going on? comma, possible delays, comma, and accidents, period. However, you must remain patient, comma, versatile, comma, determined, comma, and equipped for any adverse situation, comma, never mind. That potentially lies ahead. I thought he was going to go in just now. I was ready. I was ready, but no. It is interesting how complex cars are, comma, and how significant every part of your car, not really, I mean, period. Every part, comma, piece, comma, function, comma, and system, comma, plays an extremely integral role, comma, in your car's performance. This is not true. There are parts of your car you definitely don't need. The smallest problem with any part or system of a car, comma, can compromise one's safety. That's also not true. Period. In these ways, comma, cars. Oh my God, he is going in with this. Do you want to read this, Petty? Because money is not going to do it.
In these ways, comma, cars are similar to how human beings function, semicolon, in the significance and necessity, comma, of optimally performing parts, comma, we require to reach our goals in life, period. Wait, you said, where did you say he got his, you said he was a college educated professional?
He said he has his psychology degree, comma, is a B. Someone told him he need to have 400 words, 4,000. Is this 40,000? I think it's 40,000 words. And he said, "Hey, comma."
He said, "If you want to get these listen."
Someone said, "Imagine if Mahogany Pink narrated this book, comma. I mean the contract." Look, we told these men to go write, and they went out and wrote. Go ahead, Prince.
Let's read what he wrote. The only difference between humans and cars, comma, besides one being alive, comma, is that when car parts or the car itself, comma, is damaged, comma, or no longer of any use, comma, it can simply be replaced with new parts, semicolon, or you can just purchase a brand new automobile, period. On the other hand, comma, the human body and mind, comma, are not as simple or replaceable, period. And while it may be true that human beings can place limbs, comma, and a few organs, period, we cannot replace our brains with brand new ones, semicolon, or just up and purchase, comma, a brand new body, period. The mental, comma, physical, comma, was this written for amps? Oh, okay. Emotional, comma, and spiritual wear and tear on the human body, comma, is what is that?
Where are you?
Perdularly.
Where are we?
The word that says perdularly.
Yeah, make it bigger.
What does that mean?
It means it can't be hailed easily.
What does that mean within the context of this sentence?
Oh no, he's gonna show you that he understands words.
And
even if he doesn't know what they mean.
Is perdurably chronic until our inevitable death, period. For this reason, comma, we must engage in the most healthy and effective methods that we can, comma, in order to promote mental, comma, emotional, comma, physical, comma, and spiritual wellness and longevity, period. This is necessary.
Wait. Comma lives matter. Bri, he is breaking down his own analogy now. Period. Because what y'all not gonna do is not understand what he means. Who the comma of it all? I just came in and already I'm done. Look, I've been done. Go ahead.
This is necessary, comma, because on your journey throughout life, comma, you will certainly navigate ways of, repugnant realities, comma, opinions, comma, negative feelings, comma, criticisms, comma, judgments, comma, biases, comma, inequality, comma, ignorance, comma, and failures, period. You will find yourself growing tired and weary from these experiences. Well, hold up. Can you zoom in on that? That part I just read, you will find yourself. Is that a comma at the end or is that a period?
Where?
Right at experiences, a little bit up and to the right.
I think that's a period.
That's actually the first sentence without a comma in the book.
You will find yourself growing tired and weary from these experiences. Period.
Okay. You will make terrible decisions, comma, self-sabotage, comma, and want to quit. You will have relentless emotional dilemmas, comma.
I hate you.
Spiritual conflict, comma, and endure, comma. Wait, excuse me. Endure that's a dash. Endure dashing stints of physical and mental exhaustion, comma, time. In time, again, period. There will be many occurrences throughout your journey in life where obstacles will arise in some shape, comma, form, or fashion, comma, one way or another. I actually like that sentence.
Read it again without the commas.
There will be many occurrences throughout your journey in life where obstacles will arise in some shape, form, or fashion, one way or another.
You can go ahead. I have something to say after you finish the paragraph.
About that sentence specifically?
No, about the paragraph.
And due to these facts, comma, you have to be equipped and prepared for all varying degrees of adversity, colon, mentally, comma, emotionally, comma, physically, and spiritually, period. It's imperative that we, comma, as humans, comma, understand these things about life, semicolon, because no matter how hard we attempt to create the perfect world, comma, perfection can never be, comma, so long as the creators themselves, comma, are flawed, period. Wow, I feel better for having read this.
Wait, before Money says what he has to say, this is chapter 1. Can you read the title of chapter 1 and let me know if you believe this is going to be what it does?
Chapter 1, colon, the fundamental dynamic of life, period.
So he gonna talk about after. Wait, look. Let me. After we read the prologue, the preface, right? After we have to struggle through that, you have the audacity to title chapter 1 "The Fundamental Dynamic of Life." So you expect me to believe that you are going to explain the fundamental dynamics of life in chapter 1. Go ahead, Money.
I don't like even if you didn't get an editor and you're going to write this yourself, at least when you write yourself and you have grammatic flaws and punctuation flaws and syntax flaws, that at least you think you're doing the right thing, and so those flaws are consistent. But in that last paragraph, he didn't use the Oxford comma, which is the last comma you use right before, or the comma you use right before the last thing in the list. He didn't do that this time. Another thing that he's been doing, he did sometimes, is hyphenate, and then for some words he didn't hyphenate. And there was a third thing that he did that he didn't do before.
You actually going through to figure out what he did right and wrong?
No. I don't have to figure it out. I see it, so I don't have to figure it out. I notice it because a person who's doing it wrong is going to be consistently wrong because they think they understand the rules of the punctuation or the rules of this or the rules of that. But then he changes them up right here. So I'm like, you're guessing. It's not that you think that you know them, even though they're wrong. You're guessing each time. And so that's really irresponsible for writing.
So he's not consistent.
He's not consistent.
A colon hater.
He's not consistent in the mistakes. If he was, then he could be like, I thought this was right. I still have some kind of code to writing, right? I still have some kind of rubric I'm following in my mind, even though it's flawed rubric, it's the rubric that I'm following and I'm consistent in it. But he's not consistent in it, which means he's guessing where to put the punctuation.
Well, he's doing something that I've recommended several times before, Themis, because the target audience when you speak to Black men aren't going to be like these very educated and wealthy men. The target audience that you're looking for when you improve the community are going to be those young, less intellectual type of guys. So I think he purposefully went through after he wrote it and made some stuff worse so that it could be more readable to the broader community. That is my opinion.
So let's do a quick discussion before we go to chapter 1. Is this bad or good? Because I'm struggling with I say Black men should write more. And now I'm like, okay, maybe not. Maybe I should have said baby steps, right? We should learn to write, then write more. Because I think we don't know how to tell our stories as a general matter. And so it comes off as like, I can tell you that I don't know what he was talking about in the prologue and the preface. I honestly don't know what he was talking about.
I don't know anything that happened in the book outside of the car analogy. I was listening to read it down in the comments for a minute, and I was confused.
And I don't even know if you're saying your body is a car, if that helps the analogy, because I don't know. Because you're saying every part of the car is important, and that's not true. And it just, I mean, for people who are disabled, I think that we saying part of it is like being missing or not being able to use it is making the thing useless in some ways is not okay. But neither here nor there, I don't fully understand what the message is outside of the part where he dragged y'all for not being smart enough to understand. Well, I guess me. He dragged us for not being able to understand.
The point of the analogy isn't it isn't abstract enough to warrant an analogy in the first place.
No one asked him for any of these lists he's doing, but he keeps putting these lists out there. He kept making these lists. If he's not, one thing the author is going to do is make a list and check it twice. Wait, all right. Well, let's get into chapter 1. Let's see if he actually explains the fundamental dynamic of life. Drop a 1 if you... No, don't do that. His followers likely bought this book and formed a book club. These men somewhere sitting in a trust circle discussing the book and feeling intellectual. Oh, no. On the podcast, this is why I got the book, by the way. I was watching... thank you. Someone said, not money, dragging. I was watching, and as soon as I heard them say he wrote a book, I was like, oh, this is what I've been asking for this entire time. I now have to go buy the book. So I definitely went to the reviews. You want to read some of the reviews? Let me read some of the reviews for you.
Oh, they have reviews.
This book saved my life.
Alex, wait, let me find a good review. Henry says, great insight into the psyche, period. Followed his content, period. Grabbed the book, period. He may not always be right, semicolon, but he is always real, period. Dope book. Definitely on my reads. Another 5-star review says, excellent take on where we are currently in the US. Fact is fiction and TV reality, you too, I don't know. Objective critical thinking is rare, and the author shows us how to get there. So someone wrote, as a supporter of Black author, it is disappointing. No. That's a 1-star. We're not doing bad reviews yet. No.
Yet.
All right, well, those were only 2 good reviews. The rest are bad. Let's read some of the bad. I'm not reading the thing about supporting Black authors and feeling disappointing after reading the book. That's not okay. You shouldn't be disappointed. All right, so he goes, 1 star. I'm only on page 7 and already want to quit reading. He's saying humans have been on Earth for a couple thousand years. Try whatever. I guess. Update. I finished this book, and as expected, it was disappointment. A plethora of grammatical errors that make you cringe and realize nowadays anyone can write a book, along with an excessive amount of college taught psychology facts scrambled into what reads like a college failed midterm paper.
Oh wow.
I wish
Not a college drag.
I wish this book had been cheaper because I feel like that was money completely down the drain. Okay, well, I mean that's fair. Your point doesn't really matter. He's selling. Amazon reviews took Black Minute at the home. Another review. Jaquan LOL is a man without married parents that said he would never date a woman without married parents. That was my first concern in turning to him for information. But I downloaded his free book anyway. In reading the book, comma, it is so laden with grammatical errors that it's difficult to read. Not to mention, I've never heard a credible author take the time out to their book to address naysayers. He's embarrassing. All right. Sound like you have a personal problem with him. Trash. Oh. This man is a troll, makes TikTok video bashing women, and a self-proclaimed scientist with no certification. Horrible. Don't pay for this book. Sounds like you just mad. Between his mediocre presentation of easily refutable so-called facts to the proven lies about his credentials, this man and book are a waste of energy. He clearly has issues with his mother and the woman he sees her to be based on how easily and ignorantly he bashes women that look like her. No man that loves and values his mother would ever present this ramble to the world. Just take your money and set it on fire. You'll enjoy watching it burn more than reading this. No, they're dragging him. There's only 2 good comments and they're all bad. I mean, I guess I'm dragging him a little on here too.
A little.
Honestly, I tried to give the book a chance. It's a bunch of Googled info merged together into a book. There's not any fact, only opinion. The fact that I actually downloaded this book was a waste of time. I followed this author on multiple social media platforms, and this book made me question his authenticity. For someone who is a behavioral scientist, don't do that, and a relationship coach, this is very amateur. Out of disappointment, I've decided not to finish the book and just chuck it up to time wasted. This is a real review from a real purchaser. I will not be changing this review for any incentives. And one more. This book reads like a college paper. It was hard to read, and I guess the author's goal is to harden the reader to the true reality of the world and their respective reality. The author also presents his opinion as facts throughout the book. The book and the chapters are not structured in a way that allows the reader to transition from point to point the author is trying to make. Overall, the book isn't objective as the author wants the readers to believe. It is not good. He is not good. This book is unhelpful and absolutely useless. Oh.
Well, it's not absolutely useless. Someone in the comments said it would be, nice to bring to the bonfire.
Good. I can't. All right. My throat hurts from reading that quickly. Go ahead.
Nurture reflects nature. One of the world's most seemingly, contrasting phenomena, is the concept of nature versus nerdature, period. As far back as approximately 350 BC,
Not him going over to 350 BC. Go ahead.
And dash.
Period. School us.
Ancient philosophers
and revolutionary minds, such as those as Aristotle and Plato, attempted to understand and explain human behavior, as well as life, period. The wonder-lust for explanations regarding human nature, as well as the attempt to understand why human beings... Wait. He used understand twice in the same format on the same page. That's a little weird.
No, I think it's kind of... Wait, this is actually interesting because wouldn't it just start a new wouldn't the word be pushed down to the next
No.
line?
No,
Well,
it
I mean,
wouldn't.
if it was written correctly.
No,
Yeah.
this is in full. This is the full setting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you can have a
but
left indent. What?
if you're writing understand in one word, wouldn't it just push it down to the next line?
No, well, it depends because you can have a left indent, a right indent, and you can have a full text where you just fill up the full length of the text. And so any words that get caught in the middle, they just get hyphenated automatically.
All right. He needs to be the first student in Umar's school. Continue.
Understand why human beings are the way
Don't
that
do
we are.
that. Don't do him like that.
I feel like he put those dashes in.
No, because he actually you guys probably didn't see, but he actually put too many spaces on one of the in one of the previous pages. So if he had to do this manually, he would have messed these up and it would have been everywhere. So these are computerized.
Okay. All right. I'll give it to him. Why human beings are the way that we are, comma, and why we exhibit the behaviors that we do, comma, has led to a classic ongoing debate amongst present-day philosophers, comma, as well as scientists, period. We often want to know what influences human behavior, period. Is it our intrinsic nature, question mark? Or is it our environment? I'm not gonna lie, this is hard to read. Is it our environment and culture in which we are exposed to throughout our adolescence and adulthood? Question mark. It's been a tug of war, rationality for many centuries, but this disruption has a more observable explanation that many individuals have overlooked, comma, and still indeed overlook, period. You see, although, comma, the concept has always been perceived as an either or kind of phenomenon, comma, in terms of which phenomenon has a more significant impact. Okay, pop quiz. What did he say?
I don't know. I have no clue what he's talking about. I promise I have no clue what he's talking about.
He shouldn't have said wanderlust. He shouldn't have hyphenated that word. It's one word, and he spelled it wrong.
It's manual.
What do you mean?
I feel like you're gaslighting me. He's putting in the dashes and the hyphens manually.
Right, but not the ones at the end of the line. The lines are perfect. You see the lines on the right side of the page? He made it like the book is made in full text. And so words just get cut off at however many inches it is, and then they get hyphenated automatically by the computer.
Girl, the way if we got quizzed on this, we would all fail. What does author mean by dash? Girl, I don't know. Go ahead.
Is that the end of this page? That's the end of this page.
You're not even paying attention to where you are.
I wonder what the quiz questions would be. In influencing and shaping human behavior, the concept is a false dichotomy. Okay, let's read this without commas and see if we understand the page.
This page, the new page?
Yep.
All right.
Let's look at it this way. Earth is our home, and modern humans have roamed this planet for approximately 200,000 to 300,000 years. And many other organisms have been here for millions of years more. Every single phenomenon that occurs on Earth has a natural element from the source of the Earth itself, in which that phenomenon is predicated on. Earth is teeming with life on land, from the underground layers of rock to the highest mountain peak above sea level. There's life in the... Hey, wait, that's where there should have been... Actually, that's where there should have been a comma, in my opinion, or a colon. But there was... Anyway.
I mean, the life in the ear better be the birds. I hope the birds is what he's talking about. This book is a bunch of commas and audacity. Shaking my head. They don't have much, but they do have the audacity, Sasha.
So there's life in the air, and there's a larger abundance of life throughout the oceans, including the deepest oceanic trenches. I hope I said that right. There are even signs of microscopic life in volcanoes, whether it's frozen tundras or deserts.
Oh, he said desserts instead of deserts.
Some of the most seemingly hostile and inhospitable.
Wait. 75 pages, probably about 10 quality sentence. He did this with a psychology degree. Period. Period. He did. He wrote this on a leap pad at Dr. No, he was dictating. I promise you, he was dictating.
That's what. But whatever software heard it caught desserts instead of deserts.
All right, he wasn't dictating.
So no, because he said wanderlust. I don't know if a computer would have. I don't think a computer would have made that two different words and spelled them wrong. He had to have written that.
All right, go ahead, Patty, because I didn't even see this dessert. I didn't see it.
Whether it's frozen tundras or deserts, some of the most seemingly hostile and inhospitable environments have been discovered to harbor living organisms. How? Because they're equipped with the necessary adapt. Do you understand the page though?
No.
The earth has life and the earth has sweets, and they're both dangerous. But if you make adaptations,
he said the earth has sweets. the desserts, the desserts that they have, yeah.
And those desserts are inhospitable, unless you make adapt.
Or frozen. You said frozen tundras or desert or desserts. So you
frozen
know,
desserts.
The frozen desserts are inhospitable.
Ice cream cake.
Mm-hmm. The Klondike bar. You know what I mean? All of it.
Yeah. Is this the same page?
No.
Look at the very last sentence. It says it ends. I think it ends the exact same way, doesn't it? Equipped with the necessary adaptations. That's weird. I feel like he used a thesaurus.
With all these lists, I wouldn't be surprised.
My old professor used to get mad and say students were writing papers as if they were Twitter threads. I used to think they were being dramatic. Now I'm eating my look. Thank you, Natalie. But like the fact that this is actually published doesn't make sense to me. Even if self-published, it's like at some point someone needed to like review this. Go ahead.
So y'all never heard of Ebonics?
Is that what this is?
No. But I've heard of Ebonics, and I know that it's different from, I guess, regular English. So maybe this, like I said, maybe this is a higher form of thinking that we're not at yet. But while it's true that nurture or the environment does play a significant role in shaping one's behavior, a foundation in which the blueprint or set of instructions on how to shape those traits and behaviors must be present beforehand. It is in this way that nurture becomes a reflection of nature. You see, I don't know what that is.
Where?
You see that
it's DNA. It's deoxyribonucleic acid. It's DNA.
It's DNA, but he doesn't want to put DNA because I guess that would be too simple.
Thesaurus gang. The DNA every single human being is composed of has a set of instructions on how to reproduce, adapt, and survive in that said environment. These genetic instructions also come with potential modifications that can potentially be expressed should the environment begin to change. Not a single pause in that sentence. Interesting. The reason being is so that the new generation of offspring will be able to transition as effectively as possible while still maintaining the ability to optimally reproduce in that altered environment. Okay, this is interesting to me because there are places where I feel like there should be pause and there are none. And then there's like,
see, this is what I'm talking about, Prince Patty. This is what I'm talking, the inconsistency.
He wrote this. This was not AI anything. He put the dashes in. I'm convinced, and
not at the end of the lines. That was a computer, but he wrote the rest of this.
Okay.
Glad he didn't repeat three times like Dr. Umar. Go ahead.
In a sense, nature has granted us a way to evolve, built-in genetic contingency plans. So, should a variation take place within our evolutionary environment, we are already equipped with the necessary adaptations.
A lot of people die a lot of people and species will die if we have a drastic shift in our ecosystem. I don't know what he's talking about, but period. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's just scientifically wrong.
This is what they mean when they say educated lame. I'm not even a scientist, girl, and this ain't it.
What did this page say?
DNA is spelled like this.
Okay, that's good. That's a good page. That's a good page.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he informed us. You know what I mean?
No
Took
complaint.
us back to,
That's the end of the page. Let's see. And although human beings no longer face the environmental pressures our ancestors may have, we still retain those instructions and contingency plans within our DNA. Another amazing phenomenon to take a step back and observe, under the nature and nurture umbrella, is how the evolution of our brains and our intelligence, due to environmental pressure.
You know what? Now I just realized something. Because he's talking about DNA and he's talking about, he's trying to talk about like traits, turning on or off, right? In the face of danger and whatever else. And he really like missed a great chance to talk about like Jungian psychology, about like the evolution of the psyche. Like he could have talked about that. Like that would have been something really cool to talk about as a psych major, because I like psychology myself.
I promise you, this man just did a Mad Lib. I promise you, he learned a bunch of words in Psychology 101, threw it with the DNA, threw it into the Mad Lib, and came out with this, what he calls a book. I feel that he was trying to channel his inner David.
His inner David.
Somebody in the comments said, "One child left behind."
This was actually a perfect time to actually, if he wanted to be verbose and he wanted to like show, and put us all to shame and tell us how, stupid we were, he could have like went in to his whole he could have went to the whole tangent of like Jungian psychology about how we adapted with like archetypes and stuff like that in the psyche, like the human psyche adapting. That would have been like, I would have been like, oh, he actually knows psychology.
Someone said this in the chat, and I agree. They say Money to take things too seriously.
No, I'm not. I mean, I don't know I don't know why he actually wrote this book, because I don't know if I don't think it's giving what it's supposed to give.
He wrote the book to tell men that they are logical and women are emotional. He hasn't gotten there yet.
Period.
If he really wanted to, forget everything Monier just said, my apologies. If he really wanted to show his intellect and shame us, at the end of the page, what I would do, I would write the last sentence and be like, you probably didn't even understand what I wrote. That's what I would write, instead of exploring psychology and the environment and the, he said the dirobotomic nucleic acid, whatever the word for DNA is. That's what I would have done.
Period.
That's on comma.
So yeah, that's another amazing phenomenon to take a step back and observe. Under the nature and nurture umbrella is how the evolution of our brains and our intelligence, due to environmental pressures, has allowed us to utilize the resources.
How dare you?
Wait.
How dare Kenny?
Mania is like a half-hearted defense attorney for a guilty man. Yes.
I am not defending him. I'm saying that he could have did this better.
All right, go ahead, Prince Petty.
Can you say the D word for DNA?
Where are we?
No, just, you don't have to read it. Just say it. The long form.
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
Okay. All right. It's just me. My bad. So
no, it's not just you. A lot of people couldn't say it in school.
No, I mean, that's why we abbreviate it so often. We don't have time to say all that.
Yeah.
This has allowed us to utilize the resources from the very earth we walk and create environments to mitigate and even eliminate Those very same pressures human beings needed to escape the heat, cold, rain, and snow, as well as predators.
Why? Like, why would you anyway? Obi says, Themis, a lot of black manosphere are trying to imitate the intellectualism of Jordan Peterson without the white supremacist degree and decades of study and clinical practice and talent. I think you're right. I don't think they're trying to remove without the white supremacists. I think that's definitely in there. But I think that's right. I don't have a problem with you like Dr. Peterson being your muse, not your muse, but the person you aspire to be like. I don't mind outside of his politics. I think he's a smart guy. The thing is, he is actually smart. You know what I mean? Like you don't get to bypass the work it takes to be that and just like start saying the words he's like. You cannot adopt some of his language and then pretend like you did the work to get there.
I mean, even if you did, like, just to understand the concept fully and flesh it out and be able to defend it once someone else had a differing opinion will be sufficient, you know?
He did defend it from a differing opinion. Didn't you read the part where he said we were dumb?
You're right. He shot us down. You're right.
So yeah, I'll give him that. I think that's actually what I was thinking about earlier when you were reading. To me, this is like the Hafiz suit problem, where instead of actually doing work to improve yourself, it's just like, buy a suit. Every man should have a suit. Immediately, the suit will improve your character, and you'll gain muscle and bone and skin and brain and whatnot. It feels like he wrote this instead of, like you said, it's like, oh, Jordan Peterson is smart in writing stuff. Let me write something, instead of like actually going to maybe a literacy class, or I don't know where he got his degree from, if it's real. I assume he went to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Institute. But yeah, I don't know where this came from.
I mean, it's sad because I think so. Money started off with this, and I kind of agree. Like, it does take a kind of patience to sit there and write a book. It takes a kind of patience to actually go through the process. So I desperately want to respect him for doing it, but for doing what, right? And so, like, while I want to respect him, I don't feel like I can confidently say I respect that he sat there and wrote this, because for me, it would be better if he didn't. And it's like, it's just a hodgepodge of like, it's a stream of consciousness. And for me, that's fine, because this is like not even a first draft. It's like an outline of ideas where you will go back to and then try to outline a book and then write a first draft, right? This is just a random stream of consciousness jotting down of ideas. It's not a book. It's not an outline for a book. It's nothing at this point. It's the sticky notes on the wall that you put up when random things come to your brain. And then from there, you create something from it.
Something coherent from it.
Yeah.
This says a lot about our society.
Well, it's like a microwave.
No, that to me. Wait, hold up. What is that?
What do you mean?
Below my.
Yeah, someone took your face, I think.
You have fans. Prince Betty and Money here, you guys have fans. I have friends on here, you guys have fans.
I'd like to thank my parents. I didn't know I would ever get here, but yeah.
No, I on a serious note, I would like for not the Manosphere let's use the Manosphere to get to a Jordan Peterson level, in that I would actually like the output to be useful and transformative, even if we don't agree with it, to the listener, right? And so while I do not like fully Jordan Peterson's politics, his work as it relates to young men being better and self-actualizing, I think is actually quite good. And so if that's where this was heading, I mean, it crashed on its way there, but the car analogy again. But I do find that, like, after a while, I'm just like, where were you going? What are you doing? And the fact that you have the audacity to put this out says a lot about you, because he's building a brand around this book. He's a published author. And I worry that no one has um, read his book. Like, none of the people interviewing him read his book.
That's not what interviewers do.
Yeah.
They're like, send us the clip notes.
I don't know. I feel like this represents the Black Manosphere pretty well. It's like, to me, there are like a lot of, I don't know about a lot, but there are some good ideas here. Like this page, I don't know what y'all are getting from this page. What I'm getting is kind of a diamond under pressure, and how, you know, all this pressure, but you turn it into something beautiful or something. I'm taking a lot of liberty here with my interpretation. But
he said we created shelter and clothing to keep us warm, dry, and out of the sight of potential threats. Why did you add out of the sight of potential threats? Why? Like, I get the idea. I think he's saying we have become, human beings are innovative, right? I hope that's right. No,
I'm struggling to make sense of it.
Sure. Yeah.
Human beings need to protect themselves from predators, other humans, and hunt for food, as well as be able to cook it, so that it was easier to consume and digest. What is this?
Why is he so descriptive? Like, why does he go all the way down? You know, first you have to eat the food, chew it, and then your stomach acid turns it into nutrients, and your body absorb it, and then you excrete the waste. Like, why do you have to go into so much detail when you could have just said, hey, times were rough, but we made a way? I feel like this could have been shorter and with less commas.
Right. You see, the succinct part is lacking here, you know. But maybe he was trying to hit that word count and that comma count.
LB said she came back
camouflage. Go ahead. Where we
human beings needed to protect themselves from predators, other humans, and hunt for food, as well as be able to cook it so that it was easier to consume and digest. This ultimately led to the learning and understanding of Earth's elements and its chemistry. Remember when we cooked eggs over the fire and learned, you know, anatomy and physiology and all that stuff?
You know, astrology. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those were the days. Assaulting. I don't know what the last word was.
I think it's resulting.
Oh, resulting in the discovery and wielding of fire. Along with that acquired knowledge came the innovation of projectile weapons such as spears, blow darts, and the bow and arrow. Human beings also learned that there was a safety in numbers, and as a result, we proceeded to form and build villages, tribes, communities, societies, cities, and ultimately civilization.
He clearly knows what a comma is, but doesn't know what a paragraph is. My guy, can we get a couple spaces and indentations on these pages, please? Period. No. Thank you, Maya.
Nature gave us the blueprint to develop larger frontal lobes in order to solve more complex problems than our wild counterparts. This proved beneficial as we migrated to new and unknown environments, as it increased the probability of our survival in these uncharted territories. Nurture gave us the capacity and adaptability to renovate these environments using the natural resources from the same earth that we were adapted to survive in. Thousands of years infrastructure, trade, automotive, transportation, technology, or medicine ever existed. Everything from the food we eat, soap we use, toothpaste, cups, paper plates, home goods.
Mm-mm.
I feel like at this point he was sitting around his living room just looking around and listing things. Demas, I absolutely love and adore you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I like being loved. He copied a world history book and put in all those comments so it wouldn't be plagiarism.
He
All
really
right.
spliced the history book then, because some of these things were out of order. He thought spears came after fire. Really?
Look, he thought fire made spears. Don't ask me how.
Well, first we developed the frontal lobe, then we discovered astronomy, then fire, then food. We weren't eating up until that point. That's just how things were. Glass, currency.
Girl,
water.
I'm pretty sure he looked around and just saw some things. And
Yeah.
Go ahead, read it.
He says
Water.
lights, table.
Electricity. My refrigerator, stool.
It was like outlet, wall,
door.
Gunpowder, plastic, wood, electricity, fire, air, architecture, clothing, and footwear.
Hold on one
Technology.
second. We're not going to act like he just said we invented wood. We're not going to.
We invented trees. What do you mean? I don't see a problem with that.
How did we invent wood?
We invented trees. I don't know what you mean.
We made the trees so that we can make the spears. I feel like it was relatively linear.
Yep.
How do we breathe before we made the trees?
We made the air.
Okay. You're right.
The avatar. We were the avatar.
Yeah, what you were saying earlier about how we used to build, I believe that. I believe we used to build. We used to really build. We built the lightning and the rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all of these are results of the primitive natural world. Even the most technologically advanced gadgets, such as the PlayStation 5, is composed of the very ground we walk on.
Sir. Not he kept looking around the living room and saw the PlayStation 5 looking back at him and was like, even the PlayStation 5.
The PlayStation 5 made of water, gunpowder, plastic, wood, fire, air, all the stuff he listed.
Don't forget heart. Don't forget the heart. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And head and shoulders.
Captain Planet.
Captain Planet's coming.
Oh my God, this is the truest I've ever seen. If Kanye wrote a book that he will never read.
This is Floyd Mayweather book.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
What, are you done?
We have a little bit more to go. It's made of the very ground we walk on. We have nurtured and molded these resources for our benefit to optimize survival. Nature and nurture align perfectly. Its components of life, the natural elements, laws of physics, motion, and energy in the physical environment were designed to go hand in hand as if it were one huge 1 million piece jigsaw puzzle. Each piece having an area it can naturally be placed into or be modified to some degree to provide an alternative fit. Nature,
Wait, so is it perfect fit, or can we modify it to fit other places? Because if we can modify it to fit other places, doesn't that mean you're going to take up someone else's space? If it's like jigsaw, whatever. I'm done.
Law of the fittest. If you don't have your puzzle piece, sorry. I know. Nature is the foundation, and nurture is the innovation, renovation, modification, alteration, and variation.
I'm pretty sure he just started rapping. At this point, I'm pretty sure he just started rapping.
Sir, no.
All right, so back to what the chapter said. From reading that, did we understand the fundamental dynamic of life?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand the comment.
What broke Money, not the first 2 hours. It's getting there to Lander, school for kids who can, good, and intellectual ends. I hate y'all with these commas. So did we understand nature versus nurture?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to summarize, sometimes you're going to be put in some tough desserts, and you got to eat your way out.
I don't like how you said it lined up perfectly. They literally don't.
That's what you don't like. That's what you don't like in this book.
That's what he was trying to give us at that. And that he was trying to give that to us, and I think that was a summation of that chapter, if that's the end of the chapter. And I was just like, I reject the premise.
Yo, he has the audacity to have chapter 2 be called Problems Beyond Consciousness. I can't wait. Let's go on a commercial break. So let's hear what Candace Owens had to say about things.
Which I still believe to be untrue. So you can imagine that since going through this, since having to live this out, having to live out somebody take my words and construe meaning that was never there. In fact, in the clip, I never even said the word Jewish. Never even said the word Jewish. You can imagine how I feel now when I see people piling on somebody and they say, oh, this person's anti-Semitic, they said something. My instinct, having lived it, is to say, what did this person actually say? What is the full clip? So the headline on Newsweek is Kanye West's comments on Jews are quote unquote horrifying, says an anti-Semitism group. Don't worry, plenty of anti-Semitism groups spoke out against me, including that woman that was sitting there, right? So that doesn't hold any weight for me. I need to actually see what he said. And in this article, first and foremost, I don't know why it's relevant, but they include a post of Kanye West that he posted on Instagram. And it says he captioned the post, Jesus is Jew. Okay, Jesus was a Jew. So I don't know if that was supposed to add to their thesis here that Kanye West is anti-Semitic. I don't know if perhaps this article was written by an atheist. But yes, Jesus Christ was in fact a Jew. Moving on from that, they speak about Kanye's interview with Tucker Carlson, in which he talks about his friend, Jared Kushner. The conversation, he says, that he was upset to find out while having dinner with Josh Kushner and Jared Kushner that they owned a percentage of Skims. Skims is Kim Kardashian's lingerie line, undergarment line that Kanye launched with and for her, right? And he did not know, he found out after the fact, that his friends, Josh and Jared Kushner, owned a bigger percentage than he owned. And he was hurt by that. Let's listen to Kanye in his own words, in full context, on Tucker Carlson.
So when I think about all of these things that Jared, somehow doesn't get enough credit for with his work, and what is it? His work in Israel or his work in Palestine? What is this? You know where he made these peace treaties? Where was that? Do you know the facts on this right here? So I'm like,
I think that was between Israel and some of the Arab nations.
I just think it was to make money. I don't know. Is that too heavy-handed to put in this platform?
No, that's your opinion. We're not in the censorship business.
Okay, thank you. And I just think that that's what they're about, is making money. I don't think that they have the ability to make anything on their own. I think they were born into money. And for me, as a maverick and a talent and a person that's been, beat, kicked, lost everything, sad to have lost my mind, went from pull myself up by my boots don't have straps on them, but I say pull myself up from my boots to becoming a multi-billionaire that gets the price every year of my net worth goes down every year on Forbes. They just keep on slowly just taking it down every year. It's like really a weird thing. But as a person that has really built something from nothing, when I sit across the table from a Josh Kushner and he just feels so entitled to that idea, and this person has never brought anything of value other than so-called being a good venture capitalist, I have a major issue with that. And it makes me feel like they weren't serving my boy, Trump, the way we could have, because, you know, Trump wanted nothing but the best for this country.
So when I watched this on Tucker, what I heard, and I heard this directly from Kanye's mouth because I spoke to him after this segment on Tucker, what I heard even during that segment, though, is a person that is hurt by his friends, people that he thought were his friends, that he was shocked to find out owned a percentage of a company. Now, if you're friends with someone, you would assume they would tell you that, right off the bat, but he feels that he was somehow cut out of something that was his creative product, right? Now, that is not to assign blame to Jared and Josh. I am also very friendly with Jared Kushner. That is certainly not to say they did anything wrong, but you can understand that Kanye is saying that he's hurt by this. And now he's wondering what their motives are, even in their friendship, right? I think all that's fair. You can question your friend's motives. Not once did he mention the fact that Jared and Josh were Jewish. So how on earth is this being included as something that was anti-Semitic? Are you no longer allowed to discuss Jared Kushner and what his perhaps his reasons and his motives behind doing the deal in the Middle East are? In fact, the New York Times covered after he left the White House, he started a...
If you look closer, you can see mango juice in his beard. Maya, slavery is a choice, but the gag is not reading these contracts. Right? So he can be out here talking about slavery as a choice, but being mad that he didn't know that because he definitely didn't do the research. My thing is, the only reason, by the way, I only paused because someone wanted to know why we're listening to all of it. Candace is attempting to contextualize Kanye West. I don't need a context to say that what he said was anti-Semitic. You will see the tweet in a minute.
I was gonna say, why didn't she, I was just gonna say, why didn't she include the tweet if she was like?
She is, but so this is what people do. Candace said no to mango juice, period. This is what people do. Instead of addressing it directly, she's attempting to build a narrative around it. So even if I'm assuming that what she's saying is true, for me, it doesn't actually help. So let's hear it.
And it is they received $2 billion in an investment via a fund that was led by the Saudi crown prince. So that's a lot of money. $2 billion went into the fund at Affinity Partners, which is controlled by Jared Kushner, and it came from the Saudi prince. Okay, so that's the Middle East. So if somebody wants to ask the question whether or not he used his influence because he struck up this deal, the Abraham Accords, and whether or not because of that, he met some people and made some connections and then was able to get some money for his fund, that's a fair question to ask. It's a fair question to ask, by the way, when we talk about the wheeling and dealing that Hunter Biden did in Ukraine when his father was the vice president of the United States. It doesn't matter that Hunter Biden is a quote unquote Catholic. It is a fair question to ask about Nancy Pelosi's husband and his track record as a trader, the incredible amount of money that they seem to make. Clearly, we think that there's some inside trading going on there. We ask these questions not because Nancy Pelosi is a Catholic. I don't care if she's a Catholic. I don't care that Jared Kushner is Jewish. I don't care that Kanye West is a Christian. And none of these things mean anything. You are allowed to ask questions about how people are doing deals, period. It is such an insult to people's intelligence to continually use isms. Oh, it's because you're anti-Semitic. If you even ask a question, you're anti-Catholic. How dare you question Nancy Pelosi? Oh, you must hate Black people. You know what? Newsweek, who wrote this article, Emma Mayer, you must hate Black people. How dare you critique Kanye West, a Black man, a Black billionaire? Obviously, you don't want Kanye West to be successful. This is a game that is played by idiots. And the only people that accept this game and perpetuate this game are other idiots. You have a right to ask questions and you have a right to question someone's motive, irrespective of their race, their gender, their background, certainly their religion. I don't care. I don't care if you pray on the rosary. I don't care if you have a Star of David around your neck. If I have a criticism that I would like to launch about you or that I would like to say, I'm going to say it. Hence me doing a documentary that I am releasing this week regarding Black Lives Matter. It's not because I hate Black people. I know she must hate Black people. That's why she's doing it. No, I'm doing it because I think something shady went on. Kanye said this about Jared Kushner because he thinks that something shady went on in their friendship. He is questioning motives. He is allowed to do that. But of course, it was the tweet that he sent that really got.
All right. That is called priming. You learn it if you're in litigation. If your client did something bad, all right, if you believe your client did something bad, instead of addressing it directly, which you will have to, you create a narrative first. You've primed the jury. You've primed the jurors enough to be with you to say yes, 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 yes. And then you're going to wait to add the hard ask. But because they've been saying yes so long, it feels like what you're saying is realistic. It makes sense. It's logical. And then you drop the bomb, right? But we're not going to let Candace do that. We're stopping right now, and then we're talking, and then we're going to re-engage so we can take what Kanye said in that tweet on its own without all her buildup. We're going to ignore all her buildup, and let's get to what Kanye tweeted, because it was anti-Semitic. You're not going to convince me otherwise.
I actually, I saw something really similar to what you just said recently. There was a murder case for a young man who, his dad is like a prolific football player, and he went and unalived his mom and dad while they were sleeping. And what his defense attorney did was told like a 35-minute story, and he was like putting pictures of the boy with his dad playing football and stuff like that. And then, after that 35 minutes of, see, look what a good kid he was like, all right, let's get into this murder thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I genuinely think majority of Black people don't like Candace because she's a conservative. No, people don't like Candace because she lies. She lies and she gaslights the Black community. Like, Candace gaslights the Black community in a way that I don't think is okay. Like, you can have Candace politics, like you can legit have Candace politics and believe in pull yourself up by the bootstrap, but you don't have to come out here and lie about it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to lie. People don't like Candace Owens because she exaggerates, she lies, and even if she doesn't know the facts, she knows what side to be on. I do not trust a person that always knows what side to be on, regardless of the facts. Even when it came to climate change, if you watch the Joe Rogan podcast that she did, where she absolutely got destroyed, she knew what side to be on, even though she did not understand what she was talking about, global warming. That is someone, in my opinion, you should not trust. Now, I'm not going to call her a liar. I just think she lies based on what I have seen. I think she exaggerates. Well, let's not use that. I think she misrepresents the facts. But the ultimate issue that I have with her is her knowing what side she should always be on, regardless of what the facts are. That, for me, is a problem. Anyway, let's get to the tweet.
People motivated. So let's read that tweet. Kanye West wrote and then subsequently had his Twitter locked when he said, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight."
Let's take a moment, and without her voice, if y'all are looking at the screen, don't read it if you're on screen. Read that. And if someone said this about Black people, I would have a problem. I would have a problem. I would. Now watch Candace Owens. Watch Candace Owens bend into all kinds of pretzel to defend this foolishness.
But when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is I actually can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are actually Jew also. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who opposes your agenda. That was the tweet. And people subsequently demanded that the tweet be taken down for anti-Semitism. Now, if you are an honest person, you did not think this tweet was anti-Semitic. You did not think that he wrote this tweet because he hates or wants to genocide Jewish people. This does not represent the beginning of the Holocaust. That's if you're an honest person, you'll meet that. You will admit that, right? If you're an honest person, when you read this tweet, you had no idea what the hell he was talking about. I had no idea when I read this tweet what the hell he was talking about. This tweet inspired questions, not answers. First and foremost, what is DEFCON 3? Did he mean DEFCON 3, which would be a military defense position, not an offense for those of you that are offended?
You know, Famous, if I woke up one day and I saw Kanye West tweet, "I hate black people," I wouldn't be angry. I would have questions. What does he mean, black people? Does he mean black American, Caribbean? Does he mean black British people? I think you're all judging this man too harshly. I have questions, not answers. He didn't even say he was going to unalive anybody. He just said kill. Well, like, those are different things. Kill and murder don't even mean the same thing. So what are you guys? You need to ask more questions and stop jumping to conclusions. You're on mute.
You're muted.
Sorry. Why? Why are you? Why is this your fight? Why are you defending Kanye? Why are you talking at all? Because it doesn't make like really. We're gonna just change things around now. He meant defense. Who is attacking him? Who is attacking Kanye? For him to have a military defensive position. Who's attacking? Like, why is Candace doing this? Why is Candace doing this? I don't read Kanye's tweet. I would never want I never know what he says until other people talk about it. Me either. I said I was not going to talk about him, but I'm talking about Candace instead because this don't make no sense. Like, why is this the truth? Like, get your money. You're weaponizing white tears against white people, and I mean you're doing it at the distinct disadvantage of black people. But you're making your money from white people who are probably racist. But you're doing your thing. Stay over there and do your thing. Why are you over here trying to defend Kanye? This is not it.
A military defense position? Is he tweeting this because he's reading the Newsweek headline calling him an anti-Semitic? Is he angry because he can't believe that he's not free to talk about people in his life who happen to be Jewish, right? Without being accused of anti-Semitism? Is he saying, I'm not going to shut up and I'm going to keep tweeting and I'm going to keep calling these people out, referring to his friends that he feels slighted by? Is he talking about Jared Kushner and Josh Kushner? If you're a liar, you'll say, I was scared, Candace. I actually thought that Kanye West was going to launch a military strike in Israel. Because that's the reaction. Like when I woke up and I looked at the headlines, the reaction was like Kanye West had gotten together a military strike and it was going to go forward in the morning time in Israel. That was the reaction that was met with this tweet. Now,
I think that is very disingenuous, and here's why. When a celebrity like Kanye, who have the reach that he has, tweets something like that, it can be very dangerous, not because he's going to do anything, but because his fans. We are in a world where stands are absolutely ridiculous and crazy, and you don't want your tweet, well, I don't know what Kanye wants, but it is anti-Semitic, and you don't know what your fans are going to do to Jewish people who are just walking around minding their own business. When you say you're going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. And it incites a kind of hatred that's not okay. So I don't know what Candace Owens is talking about. No one is sitting here thinking Kanye is going to go to Israel or anything like that. But the sentiment is bad. So it is what it is. Someone said, doesn't she work for Ben Shapiro, who is Jewish? Yeah, but they're going to be fine with it because they send Candace Owens out when they need a talking head like her. Let me just leave that there because that's all I have to say there. Should I drop the link? We have not a lot of time left. And I don't know if you guys want to read all right, drop the link on chapter 2. Drop a 1 for the link, drop a 2 for chapter 2. A 1 for chapter 2. Wait, 1 for the link, 2 for chapter 2. Yeah. The link for link 1 to chapter 2. Wait, I can't believe there's actually 2s here. Yeah, the worst. What if I drop a comma? All right, it looks like there's more 1, so I'm going to drop the link. Here is the link. When you guys come up, you will have 2 minutes. And yeah, I'm going to try to get, how many people? I'm going to try to get at least 8 people. So let's do it.
You know, Kanye has come a long way from George Bush doesn't care about black people. I think that was the best Kanye arc.
I think Kanye, well, let me leave that alone. I think the need, when he got with Kim Kardashian, it highlighted for me the need to be to be very exposed, like public and exposed in a way that I feel like celebrities shouldn't have to want to be. And so I think it's kind of interesting that, like, I think the Kanye archetype is kind of interesting, but not interesting enough for me to care. Like, I never saw him as particularly interesting in what he said. I did like some of his music, well, not obviously, but I did like some of his music. But I've never found him particularly interesting. And this is his way of being interesting. Like when a black person says, "Yeah, I pulled myself up by the bootstrap to a Tucker Carlson," it feels very much like you have submitted to. Let me stop. Someone said, "Can I see the table of content?" I don't have it up here, but if you give me a second, I can go get it and tell you what's on it. All right, the link is posted for anyone who wants to come on. While I do that, Petty, you can speak, or Money, you and Petty can speak while I try to go get the table of content to read it out.
I also put a link to Stephen Hawking reading some lines from his book in his voice. If you were interested in that, I dropped it in the private chat just in case. I wasn't sure if it was ableist or not, so I did want to preface it by saying it is Stephen Hawking reading it. As images of him come on screen.
All right. So I heard, I don't know if it's ableist, so I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to play it. Chapter 1 says the fundamental dynamic of life. Chapter 2 says problems beyond consciousness. Chapter 3 says enigmatic reasoning. Chapter 4, oversimplification of life. Chapter 5, the Q pill. Chapter 6, repugnant reality. Chapter 7, birth of a new philosophy. And then he has an about the author page. I think we might have to read some more, but Paris is here. You have 2 minutes. Go ahead. You can comment on the book, you can drag us, or you can do whatever you want with your 2 minutes. Chapter 5 is the Q pill. Paris, you're muted. I don't know if you were talking. All right, you're muted, Paris, so I'm going to move on to Helena. Helena, before you go, someone said I should read the about. I'm not going to read the name, but widely known across social media as Suave Q, the Q Pill, and host of the Q Pill podcast, whatever his name is an influencer, entertainer, entrepreneur, independent behavioral scientist, mental health and certified relationship coach, and intellectual. A psychology undergraduate of the prestigious Drexel University, whatever excels in the field of psychology, and has been actively studying psychology for nearly a decade. The period on social media, whatever his name is, has gone viral on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok for his satirical. I can't do this. I don't care. I don't know why you're telling people that you went viral. No, what y'all are not gonna do is be elitist in the chat. That's what you're not gonna do. That's what y'all not gonna do.
It reads like the about the author reads like the book, which I think is funny.
Like a book?
Like the rest of the book.
Oh yeah. Wide range of controversial topic on social media and has generated over 7 million views across platforms. He's been interviewed on several ranked podcasts, featured on popular blog pages as The Shade Room. Period. He's been featured on popular blog pages as a Shade Room and Spiritual Word, and even in news articles. He is followed by multiple verified celebrity and public figure accounts across his social media account. Like, what is it? What is this about?
Did you know?
What is it about? Like, I would never say I am followed by blue check marks. Like what? In your about, you're right. You know what? It is what it is. I'm done. Go ahead, Helena. 2 minutes. Sorry.
You know what I think, guys? I have this problem of like big picture thinking. That's why I always say like on a macro level, and then black men do better. I think I just figured something out here, right? I think and it's really dangerous what's going on. So people are not researching and reading about things on their own. So any bimbo out there who's able to say something that they value, even something as little, like example, incels who love following channels talking down on black women, right? Like they find someone who can say something that like makes them think about something that they want, whether it is a bad agenda or a good agenda, then they follow behind that person without even like questioning them, like without even like did you even see those like high reviews of the book, like talking about, oh yeah, this is what's wrong with society, like making up their own like points. I mean, it's crazy. But okay, so this is how I was able to tie the whole thing with Kanye, Candace, and this situation. There are certain things that they say, okay? I'm going to say the good thing first. There are certain points that they make that are logical and make sense. However, they spew dangerous rhetoric. There's like you cannot compare a human being to a fetus. You cannot compare the Holocaust or slavery or lynching to abortion. You just cannot do that. I understand, being pro-choice and pro-life and all that kind of stuff, but like you cannot like compare those two. It's unfair and it shows lack of empathy for actual humans who have gone through like terrible things. So even though it's true the Black Lives Matter movement have like ripped off people and like have not helped the Black community, that truth need to be out there. However, you don't need a white life matter shirt to say that. They're taunting people. They like to taunt you. I'm sorry, like I know I'm speaking so passionately, but like it's like people need to start researching and reading for themselves and not just listening to anybody.
Agreed. completely agreed with absolutely everything you just said.
Thank you, guys. Okay, bye.
Thank you. I hear your voice trembling, and oh, you left. I'm sorry. Paris, your 2 minutes.
Hey, Themis, can you hear me?
Yep.
So what pisses me off, what pisses me off about Kanye, which he's a walking contradiction in everything he does. He's a Christian man with a church who married basically a porn star. Her vagina's on the internet for, forever, right? His mom died trying to get plastic surgery. He then went behind her and got plastic surgery. White lives matter,
So
but he's begging these same people.
I would have stopped you because I don't think it's fair to bring his mother up. But I still will. I just don't like how he went after Lizzo when you went under the knife to lose weight. Like, I don't like that, because you're gonna sit there and critique her for not going under the knife, knowing you can actually die when you go under the knife, something you did. And I don't want to get, let me stop. LOL,
I bring his mom in.
Let's go to the after show because we're dragging.
I bring his mom in. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, her freckles is everything. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, thank you. So I bring his mom into it because that woman is no longer alive, and they will use her, the great woman that she was, to try to give him a pass. Every turn is he misses his mom. Oh, his mom passed. Like, he's not the only person in this world who has lost someone. It's sad. And honestly, she was not just some random person, right? She was a really great person. And it's just sad to see how he's turned out. And it's like, it is basically a contradiction to how she raised him too.
Yeah.
So now, left to his own devices, he has now become this full-fledged avatar of a person that he's always wanted to be. He said when he get on, he leave you for a white girl. He did that. Check. Right? White lives matter, but he's begging these same white lives to allow him to, gain entry into white spaces. He's from Chicago, but he talks like a white guy from somewhere else, right?
You picked up on that, Candace. You picked up on his case.
That's something. This is one thing that irritates me to no end. There are educated people from all different backgrounds. You don't have to speak with a certain cadence and dialect to be educated. It's people from overseas who literally speak broken English, but they're still intelligent, right? So I don't equate somebody's intelligent with how articulately they, conduct themselves with language, because you can be entirely intelligent and just come from a certain background, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's an act of submission for a lot of guys. It does nothing but turn a white man on to sit up in his face and acquiesce to his level of what he finds intelligent, how he should talk, what he should look like.
We're done.
No, come on, you go into the source. You're submitting yourself to his culture every time you do that. And he does it with his head down. And everything that he dislikes about what Jared Kushner is doing is everything his wife is, or ex-wife is. And
we should have known about them. He should have known that they own the business, so that's on him. But I'm gonna have to stop you because I'm trying to be strict on the timing. So thank you so much.
No problem. I just say F you, Kanye, on the internet. Listen, it's disappear, please. Disappear. Go to Wyoming and sleep with Jeffree Star again. Period. Bye, y'all.
Bye. All right, 2 minutes each. Concern, go ahead. Obi.
Hey, Themis, how you doing? It's been a minute.
Right? You have not been on in a while.
Yeah, I think you've been having conversations that I feel like I don't have anything substantial to contribute, but I've been in the clouds.
Oh, that's good though. What do you have for us now? I'll start your 2 minutes now.
I think like the book you just read um, is very fascinating to me. It shows a man trying to be an intellectual, and the audacity and the audacity to like put out that book and actually claim to have studied something. It's like this same Mr. Let Go. They give themselves like high sounding titles, and they claim they have read like 50 books, or you've read 50 books, and that makes you an intellectual and makes you an authority on things. And it's just sad that a segment of our population will actually believe these people and actually listen to them and take advice from them. But like it's crazy how like I'm tempted to even go and buy that book and see and read it, but I think it's gonna be a waste of my money anyways. So, but there's this struggle for intellectualism, but people are not willing to actually go to school and go through the process and actually earn that intellectualism. And I think it's just easy to just jump online, give yourself a title, and just once you can cook up enough convincing word salad, a segment of people are going to believe you.
Yeah, no, I completely right on time too. I completely agree with you. I would say you don't have to buy the book because I will review it, but I don't think I will understand it enough to review it. So as just we barely got through chapter 1. So that's that on that. But thank you, Obi.
Thank
Please
you very
come
much,
back.
man.
We should have a discussion coming up soon.
All right, I'll be back.
Yeah, I think Concern is next, and then Sunny, and then Yasmin will be the last one. Concern.
Can you guys hear me clearly? Am I coming in and out?
You're coming in perfectly.
Okay, great. So this really just makes it clear that Black men don't even want to be led by each other, because no one in his circle that's hyping him up has read this book, and we know it. Right? Like, we know it. They are just in a circle jerk. Sorry for being that graphic, but they just need this thing to be so true so bad. Whatever delusion they're existing in, they need it to be true so bad that they are literally willing to hype up anybody they know agreed with it. Like, they didn't. None of these people who interview him, who gave him good reviews, read that book. Yeah. Because you would like, even if that's my little baby sister or my daughter, like if my daughter drew something ugly, right? I would rather not comment or you know, I would rather not make a comment rather than say, hey, you did a great job. This is worth some sort of award. Like, none of these people read that book. And it's just so scary to me, because when we think about the KSs of the world and all of the different guys in the Manosphere, I think about all of the men who I know who support it. Most of them are not spending the oodles of time listening to them. Like, anybody who has anyone who I know who's smart is not listening to them for long term. They're listening to the sound bites, even though they love to talk about you must see things in context. And it's just crazy to me how this is such a revolving door of stupidity that they're egging each other on in their own destruction. Like, that to me was dangerous, because in reality, that man feels real good about that book. Everybody really feels hyped up. It's going to be a Moynihan report all over again, because somebody like a Sin is going to read that book out loud and have them look big dumb, big dumb. And it's the last note is that normally the more you know about a subject, and I don't know the research, where to find the research on this off the top of my head, but it's something I've seen a few times to be true. The more you know about something, the less likely you are to report high competency. So I'm side-eyeing this, just the idea that you would have the audacity to think that you could write something like this with these titles, you know? But it's just so scary, honestly. And I mean, it's laughable, but it's also like scary to think, how would they get off of this crazy train? Like, they need to touch ground. Like, get out of the house. I just see no way out for anybody in that space.
Yeah, Actually, I'm going to thank you, concern. I'm going to ask Money something that you just talked about a little. Is
All right,
it
take
wrong,
over.
Meunier, to say, hey, stop doing something that's making you money? If, like, at what point is it okay for him to do this if it's making him money? Meunier, you're muted. If you're talking, you're muted. All right, Sunny, go ahead.
I actually wanted to come on here and speak to the Black Lives Matter shirts or whatever that they were wearing, because I think there's actually a good opportunity for Black people to respond to it the same way that they present the White Lives Matter and stuff. Because they said they presented that to oppose Black Lives Matter or whatever. But the concept, even though I'm not a Black Lives Matter fan at all, but the concept, the basic concept of it is supposed to be Black people saying our lives matter, whatever. If white folks saying something too, then my answer to that is white lives do not matter. It don't matter to you because you don't talk against your life. You don't talk for your life. You talk against our lives. You don't bring up white lives matter when white folks go up there and shoot up the theater, shoot up the grocery store, shoot up Walmart, shoot up the post office. You don't talk about white lives matter then. So no, it does not matter. I think to be so emotional or disrespectful, we should kind of turn that back on them. Like, well, no, it obviously does not matter because whenever you're taken out by your own, you don't say police brutality. Even when they take the schools out, you don't say white lives matter. You say gun violence. When you have issues with white folks, you say Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, liberals. You don't say white folks. So no, your life doesn't matter because you don't say it matters. So yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I think we lost the opportunity to say that no, it does not matter to you. It doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to you. You can't say black on black crime that there are Black people out there saying or going against issues of Black people doing things to Black people. You're not doing that. So you can't match the energy of even Black Lives Matter, the BLM movement. Even though I'm not really for that because there are things that they've done, but the ideal of it, I'm for that. The ideal, our lives do matter. I'm not ideal trying to push that on white folks. You don't think it matters? You don't think it matters. But white lives matter? Oh no, it doesn't. No, it sure doesn't. Show me where you came up here and said go would against something against your race. What had nothing to do with Black people.
Yeah.
You don't do it. So no, your life doesn't matter to you. So why do I need to say white lives matter if it don't matter to you? Why am I carrying you if you won't carry you too? So no, I just want to say that point. I think we kind of missed the opportunity to say, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you. So sit down, eat your food. Sit down, shut up. Because it doesn't matter to you.
The thing is, I mean, I can appreciate that without saying that, though. I can say, why do you think it's not you, but why would Kanye and Candace think it's their responsibility to say that? But they're going to just say they were trolling. And so that's why, for me, I just ignored them. But yeah. Please.
Sorry.
Please let's check in on Orange Pill and Stan's Mount Spit. I haven't seen them in a chat for a while. Mortgage and Relationship took them out of the chat. Look, I'm not checking in on either of them people. That they're not here, we're better for it. Thank you, Curry Up and Eat. But yeah, thank you, Sunnyside. I appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Yasmin, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to debunk a few things. Like that book was literally a masterpiece. It's like I think it was poorly written. I think when it comes to the Black Manosphere, they try to take all the talking points of the white manosphere and basically apply them to the Black community, and they just do not fit. Now, when it comes to the topic of Kanye West, what he said was very anti-Semitic. Basically, he was saying he's talked about him being Jewish in a very indirect way because she tried to say he didn't say anything about him being Jewish, but he talked about him going to Israel and basically pulling money out of thin air, which is referring to Jewish stereotypes because he tried to say he has to pull himself up from his bootstraps while they pull money out of thin air. And when it comes to the tweets, Candace Owens, I think she absolutely knew what he was talking about. I noticed that she tried to play dumb very well and basically said she don't know what DEFCON 3 means. Basically, he was trying to say in a way he was inciting violence towards the Jewish people. And when he say things like that, he needs to understand that he has a big platform and he has a great responsibility. And when he's put out narratives like that, he can inspire people. And when he inspires people and they go out and do things, and if they end up writing a manifesto, it's going to come back on him. So I think Kanye West needs to stop reacting overly emotional, and he needs to start speaking his mind and think before he talks, because when you speak your mind, that's what children do.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. there was one more person behind there. Summer.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. 2 minutes.
Hey, good evening. First and foremost, I just want to say, Themis, that I'm a recent fan, so thank you for the content. I think your work is sorely needed within our community.
Thank you.
And just to keep it short, because I know I'm on the clock here, I kind of have a little baseline of notes based off of the accumulation of the show thus far. So first and foremost, I kind of wanted to take it back to the beginning. Well, I do have an appreciation for your exploration of a root cause as to what some of the systemic issues are within our community. I found the learned helplessness exploration to be a bit, how should I say, incomplete, right? Because when you really look at it in the totality of us, and I mean by us, African Americans within this particular country, it doesn't give a complete justification as to what exactly the root cause of our deficits are. And the reason why I say that is because if you compare us to, say, other marginalized groups, and I know this isn't going to be a popular opinion here, but there are one or two that I can think of that could take a close second, if not first. And specifically, I'm talking about like Native Americans. When you look at, and I'm going to round back to what I thought, the general message that I'm getting at in a second. But when you look at kind of our oppression versus their oppression, and you see at least the economic collectivization that they were able to kind of accrue since that time, it really, looking at the learned helplessness, I guess you would say premise, doesn't really kind of give a real analysis as to how they were able to kind of, how should I say, see, I'm getting kind of flustered because this is my first time, but how they, for example, were able to kind of thrive in the midst of that. And by that, I mean, economically speaking, with their control of the casino business and with some of their oil revenues versus what seems to be our stagnation. Is that making any sense?
Yes, but I think there is a distinction to be made here, but I want you to get your thought through. So.
Okay, so just really quickly, and the reason why I'm saying that in particular is because if you look at how they were able to really take that misfortune and capitalize on it, and with the type of economic prowess that we just not have been able to manifest, I think that becomes readily apparent. And the reason why I say, as far as I'm not trying to compare oppression here, but it's one thing to have someone come into your home, enslave you, and then force you to build their home. And then it's another thing for someone to come into your home, literally take possession of it, and then give you the equivalent of a shoebox to say, this is your own. And that's where I'm kind of making the distinction between our plight and Native Americans. And yet, even in that, and I'm not saying it's perfect in terms of how they've had to rebuild, they seem to have had a bit more progress, economically speaking. So when you look at those two particular dynamics, learned helplessness really doesn't kind of explain how they were able to capitalize off of that, faced with similar odds and transgressions, and yet we still have remained so stagnant in our development. The second point that I kind of wanted to make is in regards to, of course, the book. We're never going to reach on that. It never surprises me how you have zealots. Anytime you seem to have ideologies that are formed in irrational emotion, you're going to have zealots. So for anyone out there who's surprised as to how this guy has the amount of reviews and the stars that he has, I mean, it's irrational emotion. And there will always be followers who follow not what is sane in terms of real substantial understanding, but what appeals to their emotion. And when we're talking about males in particular, no offense, it tends to be more of an emotional base. When you have males who are disparaged as a group, they're not going to look at the sound underlying fundamentals as long as it speaks to their feelings of insecurity. I mean, they're going to rally behind their leader. So it doesn't surprise me. The question is, do you have a bigger army of sane, rational people with a plan that can wipe out the fire that is the irrational zealot? So I think as it pertains to us, we should never be, and by us, I mean Black women, I don't think that we should ever be surprised at how the Manosphere continues to cultivate the base that they have, because it's not rooted in, well, practicality and realism. So that it's never going to be anything or of a stretch to find people that will appeal to. And the last thing.
Wait, before you continue, Monier, are you here? Monier. All right, go ahead to your last thing.
Okay, so the last thing in particular was Kanye. Again, I don't know why everyone is so surprised. He is the epitome of what is preached in this country as opposed to pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, which if anybody did a modicum of research, they'll find that the whole point of the saying was to be ironic in that you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But, the fact that he is a Black man, he's going to have his fan base. And not only that, I think the fact that he acts the way that he does speaks to more of this Black nouveau riche perspective of wealth. And again, if you've ever heard of the term money speaks, wealth whispers, you'll see that how he acts is a perfect example of the fact that he's still stuck in that very diminished mind frame and that he hasn't adjusted to his standing and elevation thereof with the antics that he continues to perpetuate. I mean, it literally highlights his insecurities.
All right, so I thought we were going to build on your first point, and this is where we can end it. I think, so I generally don't compare African Americans and Native Americans as a general matter, partly because I don't like the sort of who had it worse kind of comparison, so I won't fully do that. If we're talking about present day economics, I mean, I would not say Native Americans are doing better than Black Americans. I mean, I would put them essentially in the same kind of economic boat. I will admit, though, if we're talking about wealth, if we are just talking about like strictly wealth, the Native Americans would be above Black American in terms of collective wealth, but I wouldn't. How do I put this properly? I think Native Americans might be the one group that would be comparable. Like if Black men wanted to make a comparison where they don't look fully bad, it would be with Native Americans based on literally every, except sort of like the wealth in the community, except that I would put like income and all of that sort of in the same. I'm trying to find one of my research for a video that I was going to do. And oh, here it is. So even in terms of savings for medical issues that arise, Native Americans were below African Americans on that. In terms, sorry, I'm looking at my charts. In terms of even crimes internal crimes in neighborhoods, Black people and Native Americans were kind of on par. Just as a general matter, if you're looking at metrics, including even threat of eviction, which I'm talking about these things because they tend to align with groups that are not doing well. So threats of evictions were also high, like.
I mean, and I don't mean to interject, but that's why I kind of prefaced it with saying they have their issues. If we're speaking purely on a sociological level, right? In terms of adjustment within the grander, I would say, American community, I'm not saying that they are flourishing there, but what I am saying is that unequivocally, in terms of collective economics, they are doing much better, and that's simply because they've managed to create a stronger foothold with regard to economic development, and by that I mean in a niche category, like with their casinos, in terms of oil and energy development, because they do have land at the end of the day. They own about 56 million acres of American land. So that by itself puts them above par in regard to comparison with us. So yes, social issues aside, completely. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Native Americans, in terms of collective sort of group economics, I kind of agree that they had that figured out, but Native Americans weren't viewed, weren't completely excluded from most of American history from participating in said history. So, I mean, I take your point. I would just caution, and you said it's a crude comparison, so I appreciate that. I wouldn't make that I wouldn't fully make that comparison. I wouldn't. Because if I do, I wouldn't come out the way you came out. I don't think I would come out the way you come out.
Okay. Okay.
But I do
I can
agree with
accept that.
everything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I do agree with your analysis generally over, not on this, but on everything else that you were talking about.
And lastly, before you go, just to kind of backtrack to what you said, if there is no relative comparison, then how else are we supposed to measure progress in terms of, well, what is marginalized, what is not marginalized? I mean, we need some kind of yardstick for measurement here.
Yeah.
So who else can we compare ourselves to?
No, I mean, I think we should compare ourselves to other groups. I wouldn't use Native American as the touchstone. I would use the group that's doing the best. So I would be comparing black men to Asian men.
But see, then that's not a fair comparison either. And here's the reason why I say that.
No, it's definitely not fair. But in terms of where I want us to be, that's the comparison I'm going to make.
Oh, absolutely. As far as long-term goals, you know, how it started versus, you know, how it's going, you know, absolutely. I get that. But as far as we're talking about more Apple, it's never going to be apples to apples. That's the hard thing. But as far as a more base comparison in terms of land, in terms of starting point, in terms of general historical oppression.
I don't think any group of people have experienced the kind of oppression, sustained oppression that African Americans have experienced. I would argue dying is better than being enslaved. And this is why, because I think there are people who would say dying is worse and having people die, being killed is worse. So the way in which the conquest occurred in the New Americas and natives were destroyed in that way, a lot of people would say is worse. And I don't know, I think I would prefer to die than be enslaved. And so for me, and based on my sensitivity, I don't think, and this is where I stand on it, I don't think there's any group of people who have gone through what Black people have gone through. The issue that comes about is, I think a lot of people will say, well, why did you go through it? Why couldn't you fight? Why didn't you fight back? And I mean, that's fair enough, but ultimately we were enslaved and used, and we were, for those of us in the New World, we didn't even know our language. We didn't know anything about our culture. We were essentially completely destroyed. And this is why, for a lot of people, they don't see any connections with the continent of Africa because we're so removed. But on that note, is that still affecting us today? I would argue, yes, it is. But should that be an excuse? And the reason I come out vehemently on it should not be an excuse, or it's not a strong excuse, is because when I look at Black women, and I don't like comparing Black men to Black women can still compete with other races of women. Black men have fallen short in the competing with other races of men. And so that becomes an issue. Now, the question is, and this is why I want someone who is actually like an intellectual who is pro-Black to come on to, so that we can talk, but pro-Black men, I guess, because there is an argument to be made about how the system of white supremacy affects men versus how it affects women and what that means. But they also went into the gender politics where being woman in a patriarchy is a disadvantage, right? And so how is we can understand if racism operates in a way that puts women at an advantage, right? Because they're not seen as a threat, then we understand why the women in the system would be able to outcompete the men. But those same women can still outcompete Black women, other races of women. That doesn't make sense. It also doesn't make sense that they can outcompete the men in a patriarchy. So I actually would like to have that kind of conversation.
But I think Themis, therein lies the problem. You're not going to find it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you look at, and again, I by no means proclaim to be, a statistician. This is just going off of observation that I've noticed, well, by being an American and living in this society, that the one thing that other groups have done or if they haven't done it completely, what they're starting to, no matter how slow progress appears to be on a lot of fronts, is it seems as if the power structure has realized that they have to incorporate their women. And it seems to be the one thing that, in particular, our community seems to be very reticent to accept. I mean, for example, if you look at American history, I mean, just reading a textbook, you know, as far as the Voting Rights Act, as far as the Equal Rights Act, at some point, white men in particular realized that they needed to have favor with their counterpart within the legal mechanism and structure, hence providing them with those rights. So this whole dichotomy of men versus women really is a moot point, right? Because you've noticed that not only whiteness, but other societies realized that they needed the integration of their women, even if it was, I wouldn't say marginal, but even if it was a slow integration at best, that they needed some form of cooperation to have a complete dominance within the interconnected global society. I mean, you really don't find the stagnation within other countries, or I'm not even saying other countries, I misspoke. Communities, the way that you really see it within ours. We're holding on to this relic that even whiteness, to some extent, has managed to let go. Now, don't get me wrong. They seem to get their heads up their rears from time to time with regard to reclaiming some of that agency back. But on the whole, they realize that they need their women legally.
Yeah. I mean, I think you are right, but also I think that in the way we had a conversation about how feminism was bad, it doesn't make sense as it applies to the Black community, because feminism didn't actually change the Black community. Black women have been doing what Black women have been doing ever since slavery was abolished, right? And so
absolutely,
working and all of that isn't new. And I don't understand so in that way, Black men have always needed Black women's economically, right? We have always needed Black women economically. That part was always there. So I don't understand the whole feminist lean, but I do
Neither do I.
understand.
It's ridiculous. Yes.
But I do understand ego. And I
Correct.
understand
Yes.
wanting the woman to go 50-50, for example, but not talk about it. And for her to treat you like a king, and for her to have the second shift when she comes home to do everything as a wife does, quote unquote, who doesn't have to work, but they do have to work. So therein lies a huge problem. But I do wonder if I am completely misunderstanding how racism affects Black men in a way that puts them at a very specific disadvantage that I cannot see as opposed to Black women. And the people who are claiming that it does have not been able to articulate it. So they don't know either. And I don't know, like I'm not pushing back Summer Brown because I want to push back. I'm pushing back because I want to keep the conversation open for men or women who might understand more about why Black men specifically have failed to emerge as economic leader within the community, and predicate that failure on systemic racism to feel empowered enough to come and explain it, right? And I don't think there is an issue with saying that the system is racist and it draws people back. I accept that. I just don't understand. If you don't get into one university, you can blame racism. If you don't get into any, I'm going to have a problem when you blame racism. So that's on the most obvious front. But when we have men literally saying, I will drop my children off at the mother because the man should not raise the children. I don't want to be a part of the children's life until that child turns a certain age, then they can come and be my friend. If you are saying that, and in the same breath, you are saying welfare took Black men out of the home, the same person in the same interview is saying that, I am going to sit here and think that, look, y'all just want excuses, not just one or two excuses. You want a compounding sort of excuse blanket, so you never have to be accountable for anything. And so that's I'm just going on and on about my philosophy and why I so fundamentally blame men for where they are, while acknowledging the system without blaming the system. So that's that on that.
Now, I gotta say bravo, because hearing you articulate everything that you just said pretty much sums up what I would say the very reason for the deficiency to begin with. So in other words, what I'm saying is you understand the problem. So why seek to get explanation for a problem that you already understand and most likely cannot be fixed or cured? I guess that's where where my disconnection happens. You understand and you've laid it out so brilliantly. You've articulated it. So at this point, why get reinforcement to what you already know exists?
I appreciate that you said that, and I think I understand it, but I also recognize that my knowledge is limited. And so while I think I understand it, I could also be wrong.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All
anyway,
right.
That was a great convo. I extended the time because I appreciated that. Thank you. Please come back on. I love to talk to you. I'm going to end it now.
My pleasure. Thank you, Famous. Thanks for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Prince Freddie, do you have anything?
What do you want, a whiteboard?
Do you have a whiteboard?
Sure.
Let me see.
Okay. Good evening.
What is that? What are you wearing?
Oh, this is my bonnet. It's a little late. It's a little late. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, go ahead. I can.
So earlier I was trying to understand the book a little bit better. So I drew this diagram. And what we have here, let me hold it up where you can see it. What we have here is you. That's the car, okay? And you can see we have the hood up because we have to take out the engine, the brain. Now that we've taken the brain out, we can put it over here in the school and we can give the brain the degree. So after the brain has the degree, we can put it back in the car and we can see here from the lines in the back that the car is driving on this road, and this road is called life. And we got some potholes here. We have less educated drivers. You know, these can be haters. The pothole can be, I guess, welfare, whatever you want to call it. And then after you make it through this long road, what you have here is a wall. You can see kind of a wall right here. And this is you again, and you're headed straight into that wall. And I think this part of the book was representing men hitting the wall. If you've seen Ari Spears or Genuine or anybody like that, then you know that the wall comes fast for these men. And I named the wall comma because after you hit the wall, there's still hope after. And right after the wall, we have some dessert. And that was my interpretation of the book.
Can you hold that up? Because that was actually, the drawing is giving. The drawing is giving. The comma, the drawing. Oh my God, I cannot stand that we are here doing this. Well, I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. This bonnet, pickle Rick beside you, the panda, the drawing, this is not okay.
Oh, I didn't want to come out with my pickle on live, but I decided to.
Wait, Joanne, go ahead. Joanna?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, you have 2
Okay.
minutes.
I only have one. I always have one question because I've interviewed.
Wait, before you ask your question, can Prince Petty keep the board up because I want to look at it? Go ahead.
I always ask every time someone's like, "Oh, welfare took black men out of the home, racism." My question is always, "That's fine, but when is it not going to be white people's fault?" I just want to know at what point. Is it when you get reparations? Is it when Black women start, I don't know, submitting to you? Like, when is it not white people's fault? That's always my question. Because we know that, again, Black women have been successful beyond all racism, right? But it's for men, I'm like, when is it not? Give me a time, give me a date. Give me an event. And I always want people to ask that on panels, because and then the other question I always ask is, does it feel good to be waiting on a white man to give you permission to be successful? Like, does it even feel good? Because that's what it sounds like to me. I need to wait for white men to give me permission to be successful. Like, what are we doing here? Those are the only two questions I ever have for anybody on whenever they talk about this.
And I will answer in this way. One could argue that it's not in the permission, but it is the destruction, right? And so what you would say, well, how do I say this? Because I'm not like being funny or facetious at all, but ultimately the protection is the problem. I think I would agree you should not build if you can protect. And if you think white people are going to destroy that which you've protected, then I understand why you haven't, why you won't build. If the consequence of building the multiple kind of Black Wall Streets that existed somehow is impacting your inability to build today. I don't think that is a terrible argument, but it's an argument saying that I, as a Black man, recognize that I don't have the power to protect what I've built. And so to ask when we will feel like we have that power I feel like it's a rhetorical question because there's no answer.
Okay, and if that's the case, then what is the solution? Do we then we don't get to complain about the fact that we can't build and y'all are taking over? Then we don't get to complain, because if the answer is never, then move on to a topic that you can give a solution to.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. And but also I think it is a bit disingenuous, because the people who are saying we can't build because they will destroy, or this is why, are also saying we need to build, i.e. Dr. Umar, right? And so it seems a bit odd that we want to hold multiple positions that are conflicting, that if we can't build because they will destroy is a reality, then the women might have to go elsewhere for whatever, or the women can self-actualize and build their own. Because the ultimate truth is, if they're going to destroy what we're building so we can't build, there's no excuse until there's no way we can build or should build until we figure out how to protect. And so telling us, oh, just do it anyway, doesn't really work if protection is the problem, if fear that we're going to lose that which we have is a problem. So we shouldn't be chaining other people down to us because we are unable to come to provide currently. And I think that has to do something mentally and psychologically to us as men if we fundamentally believe that white people are just going to destroy what we build. I don't actually believe that, but I'm not going to say it's wrong. So I think we can thrive in the system if we try, but I also recognize that there are a lot of people who believe that white people are going to destroy what you build. So, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I don't understand that, because that's not an option that I have as a woman, right? Like, I don't have that option in this society to say, well, I can't build because white people are going to tear it down because no one else is building for me, right? Like, what a privilege it is to be able to even hold that stance, because someone's going to build,
I mean, you're right. It is I don't know if I would say it's a privilege to hold that stance, but it does breed a kind of complacency. And I think investigating it, at least verbally right now, is something that we should be doing. I think it's important that we do it. And I am not insulted by it being brought up. I think it's an important question, but it's a question that I can't answer because I don't hold that belief. I think we can thrive in this society, but I also don't know necessarily if everyone believes that or if I am right. Because the truth is, let's be clear. Let's have a real talk before I close. It could be the case that only a few of us were meant to succeed, right? And in allowing a few of us to succeed, we assimilate and we feel like everyone can do it. And then we become the pinnacle of hope for everyone else who will not be able to do it, right? And if, in fact, a lot of men decided to do well and succeed, it might disrupt the system because quiet as it's kept, not very quiet on this channel, I do believe we need an underclass in the system for it to run smoothly. There needs to be people at the bottom, and all of us cannot be at the top and doing well. And I think the system will correct itself if everyone tries to go to the top. What does that mean? It means that we are now playing a game where we want to be the one above others as opposed to the ones at the bottom. Will the system allow that? Oh, I don't know. Right? So if we tell people to self-actualize and they do, what happens to the sociopolitical system? I'm not sure, actually. But I do know one thing. If we're only 13% of the population, we don't have to be the underclass.
Correct. No, Themis, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm like, okay, can I just, oh my gosh, this is not gonna be politically correct.
Look,
We're the only people, but let me say this. White people, Mexicans, they're not worried about that. Like, they're actually not concerned about, that's their mentality precisely. It's not gonna be me. That is precisely the mentality I think that is in other communities that is not in ours. Well, it's not gonna be me. And I do think there's something to be said about the upbringing of Black males and Black women that contributes to this mentality. I mean, I was a teacher for 12 years, elementary, middle, and high school, and there's definitely something to that. I haven't quite explored it yet. I need to go back and think about that. But there is something to be said about that, where we are comfortable and afraid to be more than the underclass almost. We've gotten comfortable to a degree.
You gave me an idea. Next week, Friday's live, and we're going to end here, and I'm going to close now. But okay. Next week, Friday, please, everyone remind me on the Discord. But next week, Friday, we should just do a powwow where we just come up and just talk about the Black community, because I do think we can. I want to flesh this out some more. I don't have the time right now, but I do want to flesh this out some more. Concern said, I think it's a privilege because for Black men, the assumption is that Black women will hold down the fort. They have an alternative and a partner we don't have, period. On that note, thank you, Concern. Thank you, everyone. Prince Betty, Monier, no longer here. Joanna, is it Joanna?
It's Joanna, yeah.
Yeah. All right. If you're here next week, Friday, please let me know. The Discord hopefully will remind me. And we need to come together and we need to hash this out about whether or not, one, racism affects Black men differently. We need to discuss that, but also whether or not capitalism needs an underclass, whether that has to be us. Is it bad to say, even if it does, it shouldn't be us? Kind of the moral, a moral critique of that stance. So I want us to have that conversation. So we will do it next Friday. All right.
Thank you, Themis.
Bye. Thank you. You're not going to say bye, Prince Betty. Bye, everyone.